Howdy, folks, and welcome to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game. I'm Joe Treff, your Dungeon Master for the evening, and joining me, as always, I have Matt, Miles, Allie, and Tina. Congratulations, Allie, for the longest yawn on record previous to the start of the stream. We have a couple of announcements before we get started. Nothing too major, but we do have a website, alberonrpg.com. There you can find, now updated all the way through the previous session, the written recap of the story so far. It goes just session by session, or not really session by session. It is the entire story of this campaign going to the beginning before this became a stream. So something to check out at alberonrpg.com. There is also a very long lore document that's upwards of 60 to 65 pages, which details each of the classes and races and how they fit into this homebrew setting, as well as some of the history in the world, some of the major locations, and it just keeps going. But it will be a complete location setting that people can use to play in Alberon should they want to. That is available for free forever at alberonrpg.com/lore. We also have an Instagram, so we do a lot of handwritten or hand-drawn maps and handouts. I was actually looking back at our Instagram when we played in person. We had all like the printed out books and like all kinds of stuff. But all that stuff we do, painted miniatures, hand-drawn maps. I'm not looking over there for any reason, but all variety of things. Those you can see a little bit more closely and in more detail on Instagram. We are at Alberon RPG. And then finally, super short week this week. We use Sirenscape for sounds and music and all the various things that you can hear behind you. The Sirenscape, it's a digital tool set that you could use to add goblin noises or the sound of storms or this beautiful theme song that was composed for us by user 1000 Take Wonder on Reddit. Thank you very much. Sirenscape, check it out. And with that, I'm going to restart our theme song, that very same theme song, to get into our recap. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe it's just going to fade out and fade back in. Finger Yang. Last we played, you began walking down these stairs, Heinrich, these stairs that you had walked up previously, intending to return to get Carranza Billows to bring her with you on your journey, progressing further forward towards the Grey Lady, whoever that may be. As you and Morwen both attempted to walk down these stairs, you found the area around you changing. It began to become almost immaterial and material again, but replacing the furniture and features of this place, there was, for each of you, a different set of environments, kind of pulling back to your past. Morwen, for you, below the decks of the Raging Harmony, the ship that you spent a good amount of time aboard. Heinrich, for you, a villa somewhere a long time ago. You recognize many elements of this, and both of you turn back, instead opting to push onwards through this elongated, painted blue nursery that seemed to stretch almost unnaturally, 40 feet long. You all pushed through, very mindful, on either side of these huge rows of tall, slightly warped stuffed animals, seeing elephants and unicorns and other strange things as you passed. You made a very conscious decision not to open the music box that sat right in the middle of the hallway and pushed out, down a rear staircase, and into an alleyway. As you walked, some of you much more delicately than Heinrich, you stepped on broken bones beneath splayed out dwarven garments, almost like a carpet. Shay, you were able to pick out amongst this wreckage traps kind of hidden, long trip lines, and you were able to save Heinrich from possibly, or I think we could probably say probably, setting them off. You were able to push through without issue, preventing this ceiling from caving in. You found the Avenue of Divinity, this gateway that would lead you further inward towards the Granite Overwatch, your current destination, at least because you know it does lead eventually into the Cold Forge, this mythical forge that you're currently traveling to rebuild the Breaker. It was different in places than what you imagined it to be. But before you could gather details, as you walked in, you were attacked by these psionic servitors, huge stuffed animals, sort of frayed and worn at first, but as they landed around you, they materialized all sorts of strange. You had the elephant with the trunk that split open to reveal teeth, and the large purple sort of sock monkey rabbit with a real mouth, kind of gummy, and only two of those incisors left.
And the eye goat.
And the eye goat, the four-eyed goat. You were attacked by these psionic servitors, and as you killed them, especially you, Heinrich, casting this wall of light with Shay maneuvering and weaving through whatever damage was not dealt by that wall, Shay burst through these with incredible ease. As you guys did this, especially you, Morwen and Akka, you were the first to see this other entity in the room, kind of off in an alcove, small but surprisingly dexterous, a baby. You saw baby Edward. And as you engaged him in combat, which is a sentence I never thought I would say, you found that he was much more than a simple baby. This creature carved into you with a multitude of attacks, this knife that he held, clearly infernal in design. Heinrich, you disarm the baby, pulling the knife from his hands, realizing that it would actually burn you should you hold it too long. You stashed it in your bag, the handy haversack. The baby was not happy with this, but Akka, you decided to wreck the baby and repeatedly, using your telekinetic abilities, shoved it into a wall. Things were not going well for baby Edward, and he decided to retreat. You were unable to catch up to him, but you did chase up a set of stairs and towards the long hallway beyond. This hallway that baby Edward had disappeared into, also lined with chalk drawings to a point. But about 10 feet or 20 feet in, it terminated in this abrupt change in material. Dark, almost obsidian walls, rougher than obsidian, kind of like a rough black stone or dark gray stone that lines these walls, covered in these almost ribbons of paper that flutter in a breeze that seems to come from somewhere deeper yet within. Shay, for you especially, this reminded you of the aperture, where Jaruxa had used some unknown magic, very similar to what you see around you, to open the aperture and eventually reach Calypso's. You were able to bypass the elements that shielded this and entered this dark hallway, finding eventually that it shifted to stone behind. You first went to your right, finding this massive vault door. With a little bit of work, you were able to open it and found that it had closed it off from the corruption around you. This place was relatively untouched. Within, you found material for crafting, a lot of iron, kind of old and corroded metals. You did find some valuable bars of gold and silver. And you found a secondary small vault. The very back wall, simply marked Upper Realm Materials. This vault was magically warded with evocation magic and more mundane defenses, so you decided to seal the vault back up and progress down the other set of stairs, at least for now. As you did so, you found organs and other body parts belonging to dwarven individuals, at first just here and there on the staircase, but becoming more dense as you walk down, beneath this sort of cage that hangs, sized for a small individual. But as you entered the corner, you came upon the body of this Duragar, this gray dwarf, bald, a little thinner than most of the dwarves that you've seen, white scruffled beard, although kind of soaked deep crimson at the bottom because you can see his chest is split open. You see elements of rib kind of poking out, still glistening. And let me just give you some music here. You can see this Duragar, eyes wide. You can see, even for the gray skin that you would imagine, maybe kind of darker, ashen, waxy, kind of holding on to the gaping hole in his chest as the imp steps away, or this fat imp steps away, dropping him to the ground. He's just sitting there. If you've ever seen Jurassic Park, you know the guy right before he kind of like pulls the thing. He's like, no, it's not Jurassic Park, sorry. Terminator. Right before he pulls the dead man's switch, he's about to die, and he just kind of sets that thing off. Very similar. It's like the last kind of gasps. And even as this imp steps away, rubbing blood, and as he does, it's just off, and you can see elements of this gore kind of drip down. He smiles wide, picking up the small set of spectacles, putting them on his rotund, fat head. You can see the eyes almost have like bruising around them because of how fat he is. But he turns to all of you, straightening up, and as he smiles, you still see between the row of like razor sharp teeth, still elements of red kind of traced in. But he looks at you all and says, "Greetings, travelers. You are now in the realm of the Gray Lady." And he kind of grimaces a little bit, and you could see as he shuffles, it's an effort. His whole body kind of on these tiny little legs. You can see on the back these little wings just flapping furiously, trying to keep him steady, not providing much. But he looks around at all of you. Do you guys want to do anything?
Thank you.
He smiles, nods, and then he continues.
I'll just be like, which way leads further down?
He looks behind him. You can see there are two doors, one painted red, one painted black. The paper kind of fluttering on the walls of dark stone in this invisible wind. He looks back to you. Both lead forward, but one is more dangerous than the other. Kind of looks down at the body. You can see there is still like a hungry look in his eyes. This is Grey Dwarf dead on the ground. You can see kind of tongue a little bit out, eyes wide open, a little bit of blood just sliding across the floor now.
Could you describe this danger, good sir?
He smiles and make an insight check.
Calling on my at least still good skills. That is a 22.
Dirty 20.
You
Dirty
get
20.
the sense with this smile, there's an element to this that he is going to enjoy, and you get a sense you have to be very careful with what he says.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that he's lying to you, but there
I
are
know.
things that he is going to selectively hold back.
Oh, okay. So what
But
I
he
kind
looks
of
at
already
you.
surmised.
Yeah, but he looks at you and he says, "Behind each door, the danger is different. Behind one, you'll need to face something personal to you. Behind the other, a longer danger."
What danger?
He licks his lips and kind of, you see the eyes back to the corpse, but he looks back up to you.
Longer danger? Opposed to short danger?
Sure, like a dagger to a sword. Is that sort of what you mean?
Probably.
No. What I mean is, one of these doors will lead you to something horrifying, personalized for each of you. And the other, you'll walk through these halls as they were, with minor alterations. He looks back down at this body and kind of looks back up.
Have you gone through?
No, I've been cursed. I'm trapped here, and for my crimes of questioning her leadership, I'm cursed to answer the questions of travelers who pass through.
Oh. All
But
right.
I'm allowed to eat the gray dwarves.
I see. Very tasty. So, which door do you see most people going towards?
And turns. Most go through the black door.
And that's short danger or long danger?
Long.
Oh. Odd. I would choose short danger.
Well, my decision's made. How about you guys?
What?
Yeah.
What did you do exactly to, get on the Gray Lady's bad side.
So you
Besides,
see, as you start talking, he has to kind of reposition his whole body. Thank you, Sumua. He has to reposition his whole body. His legs are almost like stick-like. He's like a Mike Wazowski kind of build, this big rotund top. Like part Mike Wazowski, part Gru. But he sort of like turns to address you, the eyes kind of shifting over, and you notice they settle for a moment very pointedly on your arm.
Mm.
But he looks back up and he smiles. I questioned her leadership. I gave a recommendation, but she doesn't like those.
And why is she seemingly antagonistic towards the Grey Dwarves?
It's a funny story if you're into that kind of thing, but they exiled her.
So she's a gray dwarf too?
Yes.
Wait, I love funny stories. Will you tell us? It's just been such a long day.
I don't think our humor is gonna be. Continue.
Okay. He smiles and he says, let me just pull up the right thing. I don't want to tell you the wrong things.
Funny story.
So this Gray Lady walks into a bar.
It's funny story 1.
She says, ouch.
Story 2.
Yeah, I just got to look for all my Excel funny story spreadsheets because I just keep them kind of in like a database. Oh, I know where this would be. Duh. The Gray Lady hails from a place deep beneath. None of you are gray dwarves. At least none of you smell very good. So you've never been. You would know it as the Cold Forge. But they worship a god that the Gray Lady cares not for. When she attempted to change their allegiances, those who endure saw her thrown out. I would love to be thrown out. Kind of looks back up at you. There's like a moment of like a little bit of an existential thing, and then he right back.
You seen a baby walk through here recently?
No, Edward, yeah.
So you know
him. Better than you do.
What's his deal?
I'm sure you'll find out.
I mean, like, did he miss nap time?
The
Like, what's going
grin
on
just
here?
spreads wide. You see within there's just this little scrap of flesh, still a little bit of gray. This grotesque, almost like a little bit of hair kind of sticking out. What'd you say?
Did he miss nap time? What's going on?
That isn't really a baby.
Oh, fooled me.
Yeah. Happens to a lot of people.
Yeah. What is it?
I can't tell you that. You'll have to ask him.
Didn't seem to be the talking type or the stabbing.
I don't think it can talk.
I mean,
If baby Edward were to talk, what would he say he is? No, I'm just kidding.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
This guy's lonely.
This guy's kind of fun. I like him. Let's take him. You guys, let's liberate this guy.
Can we call
Try
you
it.
Thistle?
Do you ask him that?
No. He can be Branch.
He could be Branch.
What am I doing? Persuasion. All right.
Yeah.
So that's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20?
Yes, sir.
What was it that you did? Sorry.
If I was to ask baby Edward what he is, what would he say?
Something much older than a baby, or you, or me, or even him. And you see, he looks at Akka. Morwen, what's your passive perception?
17.
He doesn't look at Akka in the face. It's this flicker, and the glance is too low. Take that to mean what you will. But you
Checking out my junk.
Yeah,
You-
what you looking at?
you don't catch exactly what it is, but he's
Satchel.
not looking at Akka. But if you can only see in this place, and he kind of gestures his little arms. They don't quite make it up. His like arm muscles are not able to lift them to like a full outward kind of stretch, and you can see this fat beneath. But as it wobbles back and forth, he just sort of says, "If you can only see in places like this, you won't see Edward for what he is."
Okay. How does one see in places like this? Wait, what? Can you can you clarify your last email?
Per my last
God.
email.
It's been a fucking week, you guys.
I'm sorry. I'm
Shit.
still in that.
No, I feel. Trust me, you have no idea. It's been a week. It's been a day.
Please advise.
I'm glad we don't have to play this game that way.
He isn't one of them, but Edward, he spends time with ghostly folk. If you can see them, you can see him for what he is. But I think the baby's nicer for you.
All right. What are you doing down here? Like, how are you here?
Well, I was having lunch. Oh, you
I'm
mean
interviewing
down
this
here?
guy. You're hired.
I have strong leadership skills. His eyes glance up, and you can see just at the edge, as you guys have walked around a little bit, the kind of end of the hanging cage. Like I said, I was cursed. The Gray Lady travels many realms outside of here for her menagerie. I got caught up in one of them.
Which realm are you from?
Oh, the hells.
Oh, I have a friend who went there not too long ago. Heard it's
Yeah.
beautiful during the summer. All right. Well, do you guys want to?
His eyes looks for the first time a little confused. You can see the smile falter on his face. Congratulations.
Lovely sun that never sets. So you guys have any questions for him? Or-
I have a question. Are you familiar with the shield a few places back?
Oh, I know a little about it, but not about the shield. She hates the shield.
I had a feeling. You wouldn't happen to know where a key to that might be, would you?
You can see he smiles. What's it worth to you, elf boy?
Well, it could be worth a bit, depending on, if it's gonna be beneficial to both parties.
Make a persuasion check.
Am I persuasive? Not that persuasive. That's a 16.
I do love a party. You need 3 icons. Each represents a hero of this place in days of yore. You need 1 for the heavy hand, 1 for the first hero, and 1 for the prodigal smith.
You don't know where those are, though, do you?
I didn't say that. What do you have to offer?
What are you interested in?
You see his eyes kind of flicker around.
He checks
You know, it's been a short 70 years, but I'd like to leave this place. Get back to the hells.
And how would one go about getting you out of there?
Well, ideally, you would, and you see, it's almost as if he can't say.
Kill the Gray Lady?
Look, I didn't say that. And for a moment, you said your passive is 17?
Mine is.
So for both of you, I would say Shay also, everybody, Heinrich, you can see, well, actually, Heinrich, what is your passive? Is it above 16?
No.
So everybody but Heinrich sees every time that she kind of tries to say something, it's almost as if something is being cinched around her neck. You don't see anything, but
She's
you
a
see
lady?
like this kind of thing.
It's a lady.
What? Sorry?
Wait, the thing we're talking to is a lady?
You don't know.
You just said she.
Well,
I'm confused.
So,
And everything
It's
else
besides
about
the
this
point.
makes
It's,
sense.
it's besides the point.
Everything
Yeah.
else about this is
Just-
very easy to follow.
This part doesn't matter.
reality based.
so here's the thing. If we were to have this shield, it would probably make it easier for us to help you in your situation.
Yeah, maybe, but it doesn't really beholden you to it. And in my experience, you really need a guarantee.
What would a fair guarantee be for you? Kind of hard to guarantee that we're gonna do the thing that you're implying.
You want to make a deal, elf boy?
Not necessarily, but I
Let's
do want
see,
that
he licks
shield.
his lips a little bit.
I said not necessarily, but I do want that shield.
Oh, well, I might know where one or two of those icons are.
Okay, well, what do I need to grease the wheel? Short of, the thing you can't tell us.
Well, I want a guarantee, really. So, let's say you agreed to take my place if you couldn't get me out.
No.
You
I've
don't
already got.
sound very confident in your skills. And that doesn't really lead me to think that you're somebody that could, and you can see again that kind of cinch for just a second.
Well, I might not be able to kill the Gray Lady, but feel pretty confident in killing you.
Oh,
No reaction.
All right.
Well, I'm done.
it's just 2 doors in this
So,
room, by the way.
Yeah, just 2 doors.
So if we go forward, are more walls just gonna keep appearing behind us? Cause like we came through at the top of those stairs, and there's a wall blocking us from getting back now.
If you go through the black door, you can always come back.
And the red?
I didn't say that.
I'm asking.
He smiles.
Well, can we come back if we go through the red door, Mister? I have to answer all questions asked of me per your curse.
You can see like a little twitch in the corner of his eye. Make a persuasion check.
17.
The angler's not gonna let you come back.
And who is
What's the angler?
She.
he? Who are they?
Look at the open-minded from the tabaxi, who's generally kind of racist towards everybody. Through that door is a creature that's called.
The angler.
There are things that I just can't tell you.
Can we guess?
Well,
And you'll
I
tell
see-
us if we're right or wrong.
You seem to got something stuck in your throat. Is it like removable?
I get it. You got something stuck in your forehead. Can I pull it out? Is that a no? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. You can try, but I won't know what it's gonna look like for you. And she will give it information. She knows all of you.
It's dusty down here, damn.
There's no outlets for my dustbuster. He cries.
You guys got outlets and magnets down here? Damn.
Listen,
He has no
you let
outlet.
us know where the keys to the shield are. I'll clean this place up for you.
So, what do you guys want to do? You can see this fat little imp still kind of looking over to you every now and then, Akka.
I'm staring him down.
Well,
He doesn't sit right with me.
I mean, does any of this place?
No, I don't get it. Like, I'm talking to the imp. Because we've all seen him actually like looking at Akka. Them. I don't know what you are.
Yeah, so since that first time, now, yeah, definitely like engaging with Akka in conversation. And now looking at Akka more about the deal that was kind of potentially offered. But previous, it was as if he was looking at something on Akka's person. Perhaps an item, perhaps one of the symbols that you see flicker across the armor. Unclear to you.
And that's not happening anymore.
No, just like a brief moment.
Oh,
Why were you looking at Akka earlier?
what?
He kind of looks and following
What?
your eyes to Akka goes, "Oh, elf boy.
Why'd you give it my name?
Oh, you
Oh,
just
I
got
thought-
real pretty armor." Anyways, I'm in the middle of lunch and it's getting kind of cold, so do you need anything else?
I think we're done here.
All right. And he kind of goes back. You see, he hunches down and in a moment, looks like one of those gargoyles, kind of fat with the tiny wings on the back. Before you see the mouth, that too wide grin spread across into the flesh of this creature, and you hear the skin snap as it tears away. Just through the mouthful of flesh, he says, "Best of luck."
Thank you. Have a nice day.
I'm gonna use minor illusion to just like make it look like a nice pretty bush of flowers over the whole thing.
So as you do this bush of flowers, you can see the imp looks. His eyes kind of flicker for a second, and then he goes, and he starts to choke on some of the stuff that he's eating. And then before he, an illusion, and he picks up the piece of flesh and back into his mouth.
Just like censoring it. A big black bar.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so red or black?
Just walk. I'm already walking towards the black door.
All right.
That's
Are
the
these
personal
unlocked?
one? That's
Are
the deep
these
cut?
unlocked, little guy?
Turns around. Yeah, they're both unlocked.
All right, thank you.
Do you go through the black door?
I'll just open it and be like, yeah, whatever. Forward, just forward.
You open this door. It's old wood. You get the predictable horror movie. You see stairs, brittle and wood, which is unusual for the dwarven terrain that you've been in. Lots of stone and metal. This is old wood, and you can see it looks dried out and brittle. You hear almost like the sounds of a liquid faintly lapping in the distance. There's this sort of irony smell that hangs in the air. And the whole area, as you go down a little bit, or if you were to like even step into the doorway a little bit, it's a little bit warmer.
So we're gonna go the long way.
Yeah. Yep. I am.
All right, I'll see you on the other side. I'm gonna go on the runway. Nah, just nah.
Oh.
No. But maybe. No, I'm not gonna do it.
You guys go through. You guys can split the party. Why not?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm gonna just test the stairs a little bit.
Okay. You put a foot on the steps, and as you do, each inch of your pressure, it's this loud, like every time it goes down a little bit, and you can see dust off the top and kind of going down. These wooden steps, you can see there's space between them, and they just go down to darkness. It's as if there's nothing beneath them, but they hold. You put all of your weight slowly shifting over, and they hold.
Cool. I mean, I'd be walking like wide stance with my
Yeah.
feet hitting the
Spreading your weight
banisters.
as much as you can.
Well,
Oh,
also
towards the
just
walls.
Towards like the walls and presumably the support angles.
Wait. Hold on. I'm gonna catch up to you.
No, don't. Stay away from me. Don't get close. Too much pressure, it'll collapse. I'm wearing a lot of armor here.
But what if you go down, like, what if something happens where you disappear again? It said it was gonna be personal.
That's not this way. That's why I didn't go this way. So,
I'm confused. I thought this was the deep cut room.
Nope.
No, this
The
is
other
not
one where the
deep
thing
cut
knew
room.
what we know.
So what's this room?
The long way.
So we're just
I'm
gonna
just gonna-
figure it out.
Just gonna
So
keep
Alright.
creaking down slowly.
I'm gonna turn and be like, "Hey, buddy."
You turn, yeah, and you see there's actually his teeth are into a forearm that goes out into a hand. The
But
as he
his head
bites
just
in,
sticks out of the bush, right?
as he yeah, he
The
just
bush
sticks
is there
there, and
The bush
you
is there
see,
until I am 30 feet away.
as he
Oh.
says, yeah, he turns and he chomps down where you
Chomping.
can see the fingers like kind of curl in as he bites down on the tendons. But he's looking at you.
So, how many people have come back this way in your experience?
You mean other than Edward?
Yeah,
No, none.
and that's for both doors, huh?
Yeah, you got it.
Hmm. So, I feel like maybe we should go with the red door, guys. We know a little bit more of what's there.
I'm good. I'm like down
Why?
the stairs.
We've already dealt with something similar.
No, we haven't.
Why are you so scared? Come back.
Nope. It's
Come,
okay.
Get back up here.
It's all right.
Does it
Good
seem like
thanks.
Heinrich knows more
See you
than he's
down
letting
here.
on?
Make an insight check.
How's the...
You're the
how
red.
much
You
do
get
I
your
know
vote
with an
now.
18?
Let me see here.
Is that your name? Yeah.
Against my 27, not a lot, especially because I shift the minor illusion to just make like a everything's okay, super happy smiley face mask over my. Yeah, no, we're good. We'll just go this way. I don't actually do that mask part.
That would make me question it even
No,
more.
everything is totally
I know,
fine. But no, actually, no,
tough
you don't
read.
get much. You don't get much.
Tough to read. Yeah.
Um,
I'm just like very being like, yeah, I mean, this is the only way forward as far as I'm concerned.
but if we're trying to go... Shay, what do you think?
I don't think it matters at the end of the day. Ultimately, we're looking just to pass through. So,
Right, but one
Yeah,
of
she's
them
right.
is a shorter distance with...
How far down am I now?
Have you been walking this whole time?
I've been like kind of slowly going now that they're
Okay.
just like
So as this
slowly
conversation
coming
happens,
around to it. I'm hoping my distance keeps putting pressure on.
as
being
this
figuring
conversation
out.
happens, you begin to walk, and it's still this like dark gray stone. You come to the bottom of the stairs. You can see maybe 10 feet below you, and they curve slightly. There is a door, maybe 30 feet away, large, wide, maybe like 30 feet wide, and made out of a material neither stone nor wood. It doesn't look metal. And even as you kind of get down to the bottom 4 or 5 steps, it's almost as if the level of light in the room rises slightly. It's now dimly lit. And looking around, there is no source of light. but you can see that these doors are made of stitched together humanoid skin. And even as you look at it here and there, you see it just twitch, or like a stretch of it will just suddenly contract. And you can hear it, you're aware, as you begin to adjust to the low light. And as you do, looking at this doorway, there are no handles. There are two arms that are outstretched. They look like dwarven arms, but not gray dwarf. And they're wet. You can see the clothing kind of dripping, even from here. In the dim light, hard to make out more than that. You smell, I would say, those of you who are not Heinrich, the faintest scent of jasmine.
So it's just a hallway at the bottom of the stairs.
At the bottom of the stairs, so it's almost like a bigger room. It spreads out a little bit, but it's not cleanly shapen. You don't see walls that form at 90-degree angles to the floor like they have. This is a little bit more naturally carved out from this gray stone. And as you get closer to it, make a perception check.
13.
There are elements of this that when you touch it, it feels like stone to you, but your eyes almost seem like they're playing tricks on you. The darkness of this space in areas is so complete that it really is hard to see like the edges of things. It's very much that like ultra black effect where you kind of lose the definition.
Mhm.
And it's a very peculiar sensation. It's a roughly carved room that maybe is about 30 feet wide from the door out. And the door is kind of on the eastern side of this room. Straight ahead, there's kind of a stone wall that gradually rises up to a ceiling, almost like a natural cave, and the same thing on the left. So the room itself is maybe 20 feet wide, 30 feet long.
Okay.
Ceiling seems to be about 30 feet up. It's a tall space.
Okay. Just be like, yeah, I found the bottom. It's right here. And just sort of stand at the bottom of the stairs.
Yep.
I suppose to more directly answer your question, Akka, it depends on whether you wish to face yourself or what actually lies within.
Well, in regard to that, I feel like I know more about myself than I do about whatever's down there. And clearly, the Grey Lady already knows more about myself than really matters at this point. So, I don't know. I feel like, the fastest route is probably the one that I would prefer to take.
From
Even if
right
it
down
is...
at Akka's waist, this imp has like gradually walked over, and you can see kind of like pulling some kind of a meaty element with him along the floor, a little trail, scraps of cloth kind of hanging off of it. But he suddenly, Akka, you don't see him approach, but he's just at your waist and kind of speaks up. But and actually, because I was describing it, I just forgot what you had just said. But he's responding to you, and you had just said,
I know more about myself than I do about what's down there. And at this point, the Grey Lady already knows more about myself than really matters. So,
and he kind of from behind, just below you, just looks up. Yeah, and if you're looking for the shortest way, that's gonna bring you right to the front door of the Granite Overwatch. So, the fastest way by far.
So, I mean, that's my thought there. But
Well, what do we do about?
I don't know. He seems pretty against going that way for whatever reason.
Well, maybe whatever was on those stairs scared him enough that he doesn't want to face whatever else is.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, we've already faced that staircase, and
Yeah, but they didn't do anything that time. They just spoke to us.
but
Like that
like,
sucked in itself.
it's all within our minds. Everything that takes place there is stuff that is formed from our own imagination and our own memories. So, if we keep that in mind, then I feel a little more comfortable dealing with that than with some unseen abomination. Like, I don't want to deal with another baby.
Yeah, but we could also be dealing with like another kind of baby. Like, what if it's us as babies?
I feel like you
We have
latch
to watch
on to the
ourselves
wrong
grow up
word.
and see all the good opportunities we could have taken and didn't.
Wow. Massive
That's
psychic damage.
That's
Existential damage.
You have
That's
to
like
watch where it all went wrong.
that's permadeath. That's permadeath level psychic damage.
Mhm.
Yeah, damn.
You have to relive your life in third person,
Oh.
but with your current consciousness watching yourself grow up.
Mine would
No,
just
don't
be
take him to the
cringe.
prom. No.
Anyways.
Oh, that's a cute version. All right. I'm just gonna
Great
call
bottom
up.
to
So you
see.
guys coming?
We don't know yet.
But
We should discuss
certain-
it.
I'm certain this way is safer. Certain.
What do you see down there?
Some flesh walls and some doors with handles.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
Nope.
that's the best way.
That's nope.
Sounds pretty
I
close
don't.
to me.
What about that? Seems better than just dealing with our own imaginations.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I'll see you on the other side.
Oh.
Shay, what are you doing?
I think after a minute, Shay would follow Heinrich down the stairs.
Okay.
Well, if Shay's going, I'm gonna go.
Aka, you find yourself alone with the imp who just kind of looks up at you. Hey, elf boy, it's not too late to make a deal.
Yeah, maybe if we get back after this, and then I'm gonna be begrudgingly go down the stairs just to get away from this demon.
As you walk
That's
down, you can hear the voice kind of trailing behind you.
Oh,
Always be waiting for you, elf boy.
always watching.
You disappear down the stairs and rejoin everybody else at the bottom.
Did we
All
see
of
a
you.
console with like 20 different tubes leading to rooms where you could just talk to us?
You do hear screams in the distance. No, you down at the bottom of the stairs. It is a little bit more humid. You can smell iron in the air. The walls are mostly stone, but as they lead to this doorway, this 30-foot wide door, a double door, it is crafted of stretched skin, and it twitches and writhes here and there, almost like impulses of nerves firing across the doors. You can hear the skin stretch.
When I get to the bottom of the stairs, just catch up with Heinrich, hand on his shoulder. You okay? You sure?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Let's get this done.
How
Get
is
outta
this?
here.
Okay.
Ugh. Ugh. I'm not touching that.
I'll do it. Don't you worry. No big deal. I
Heinrich
got this.
confidently steps
If
forward.
I'm dragging
Heinrich,
you guys this way, don't worry. I'll touch all the hands.
Perfect. Heinrich, as you walk closer, there's a
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'll shake it.
milady.
Yeah.
As you approach,
Keep it hot.
interestingly, as you do approach, the hands kind of seem to almost stretch out in these very much like a shaking hands kind of way.
Uh-huh.
You recognize the garb. You've seen it. It's very cold ramen style. And as you approach, all of you begin to smell this jasmine in the air. And it brings you back to a smell that you've smelled previously. And as you approach, the sort of skin almost seems to separate and a face emerges. The hair wet. Not braided like it was the last time, but you can still see that she's damp and that smell coming from the perfumed waters of the Golden Terrace. This is Helia Coldrot. You see the eyes suddenly just look up. Yeah, that guy has no idea.
Yeah.
The hands still outstretched, but
I'm just gonna.
Well, that's awkward.
Does she look like she can see me?
the eyes are looking. If you're the first one in line, she's looking directly at you.
Does it talk?
I'm just gonna try to. So it's outstretched handles. Yeah.
Literally like this.
Both
So-
of her. Are they both hers or?
Yep, and they're separate to the point that like they're about 5 feet apart, so way too far apart to be on like a normal dwarven body. the face and torso are leaning out of the front of the door, almost where the door seam should be. You see the face just like emerge from the split of skin, and it seems to almost heal behind her. The body now like leaning partially out.
Well, this is a pretty awful illusion. I'm gonna try to convince myself this is an illusion. And I'm
You
just
see
gonna-
this ghostly kind of form smile. Imagine what it's like from this side, Heinrich.
You know that thing?
The
Yeah,
eyes
that's my friend
flicker over
Talia.
to you.
This is someone who.
The eyes look over to you, Morwen, and as they do, you see one kind of just like droop a little bit. You see the face, little bits of water running from the eyes, the nose, the ears. Is this what you do to your friends, Morwen?
I don't think friends also stab each other in the back either. But I'm talking to a door, so I'm just gonna go ahead and try to open this door.
Okay. How do you do that?
You know.
Boop it on the
Do what you have to
nose.
do.
I'm just going to as I'm like actually doing this me right now, just imagine Heinrich kind of going trying to figure out how to like open the door without touching anything.
And every time that you kind of move, you can hear the skin that makes the door behind like kind of stretch. And here and there, you'll see it like twinge and almost contract.
Now the hands. If I move close to the hand, like almost before I grab it, like a handshake, how does it react?
So as you reach forwards, very limply, it comes up, and you see this little drop of water, very much that perfumed water from the golden parrots.
I should be like, no more funny business. You're gonna let us pass, right? We tried our best to save you.
There isn't really a smile, but there is this shift over towards Morwen, and she looks back at you. I don't necessarily think that's true, Heinrich. But tell yourself whatever it is you need to sleep at night.
Ha, good one.
And the hand kind of reaches forward. You can hear some of the skin snap that's connecting it to the door, and it grabs yours. It's a loose grip. You can feel how clammy the skin is. And as you almost reflexively try to pull away, the door budges with you a little bit. And you can pull it open.
Okay, I will do that. Be like, sorry things didn't turn out a different way. Door, hell yeah. And I'll try to open the door.
As you pull away, it's almost as if as the arm pulls and the door creaks open, the face pulls back, but the last thing you see is the eyes before the skin just kind of seals over. But the doors swing open.
Like, yeah, all right, so not really.
Yeah, this is much better than going through the red door.
Yeah,
Beyond this,
I would say so.
Beyond this door, you can see. Just 1 second here. There's a lot of rating that went down to this week. There is a sort of, it's like a half circle. This space, you can see, has 7 odd-looking things. They're like glass tubes, large enough to stand in, and they have openings you can see in the front of them. They seem to be connected to something either beneath or above them. And some of you who had kind of peered in had seen similar tubes when you were walking through the Dryerstun maze that had been used to kind of roll luggage elsewhere. These don't have any of those rollers. They seem... if you would like to inspect them, you could perhaps see how they work.
I guess if we're going through, I would take a look at them.
Okay.
And I would also be like, who was that door to you guys?
It was a jar, not a door.
Nice. So
it was technically just, it was technically just a door.
Technically,
it
yeah.
seemed to resemble, through whatever means that was, someone who
Heinrich?
helped and then betrayed us, I suppose.
Through no fault of her own.
Yeah, that's the part that kind of stings.
So some sort of situation of coercion.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, did we ever tell you much about Kind Scale and how
No.
dragon?
No, not really.
She was a Shadowfell dragon who really good about nightmares and stuff. You know, as I don't sleep, didn't affect me, but I got to watch as it sort of took hold with Guntir and then Morwen and Guntir again, and then I guess it got Helia, who that was. Yeah, nightmare stuff pretty much. So I would assume that it's all, this whole place is made of the same stuff. That's the vibe I'm getting. A lot of deep dark fears. She used that a lot when we fought her and eventually killed her. So I'm not too unfamiliar or uncomfortable with this stuff, knowing that it's just sort of here to creep you out. But that's it.
Yes, from here on you can assume we're in the Shadowfell. Or this place as the Shadowfell.
Wait, who is the guy that went into the shadow? Wait, who is?
That would be Matt's original character,
Anasu.
Anasu. Yeah. Oh, I wonder if Anasu's in here.
Oh yeah, that elf artificer. Weird. I wonder, another elf artificer.
Oh, page him. See if you can get him on the line.
No, there aren't many of us around.
Hey.
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 While Akka's doing that, once he's done exploring, I'm gonna do this part.
So Akka, what are you doing?
I'm inspecting the tubes.
Make an investigation.
It's a really good idea.
I have those sometimes, despite my low intelligence at the moment.
Ooh. I'm not very genuinely like, but oh yeah, nice.
29.
Right
29. Okay. So with the 29, you go over. You can see these tubes. 7 of them. Some of them damaged. You can see the glass in places broken a little bit. You can see along some of the edges, and in each one there is like an iron disc. Some of them more corroded than others. Some of them damaged in various ways. This is an older place. You can see dust settled on the ground. There are elements of rubble. Looking overhead, there are broken bits of the ceiling, and so some have fallen down here. Looking at this and kind of piecing together some of the edges, you see grooves. And as you get really close, there's an element, one of the tools in your belt, just sticks to the disc. And you recognize that there's an element of magnetism to this. And putting it all together, you would imagine there is a way, and thinking back to things previous, probably something involving magnets that activates this and would probably allow it to work maybe as an elevator.
Okay.
What was your roll?
29.
With that roll, there are some concerning things that you're seeing here. They might work, but yeah, beyond the skin door that you just walked through, there are elements that you can see on some of them that look as if they've been dragged through like spikes. You can see some of them that seem maybe pitted or corroded. There's one that has a very clean hole through the middle of the disc. You would imagine that some of these are safer than others to use.
And there are no like doors other than it's just these tubes in this room?
So in this room, you can see it doesn't look like there's a door leading out of it.
Right.
And with the 29, you make a pretty thorough look through the room. You don't find anything necessarily. The only thing that I could say is when you go to the third tube, if you start on the left and work your way around, on the floor of it, there is the shell of some kind of a creature, maybe the size of your hand, like a lobster or a crab, some kind of a crustacean or insect, perhaps. But in its ruined state, I would say with the 29, you know what? You kick it around a little bit and you see it has a stinger, scorpion, probably.
Like a big scorpion or normal size?
Relatively, not like a giant scorpion by any means, but about the size of your hand. So like a large,
okay,
but realistic, maybe scorpion.
Right.
I don't know about scorpions.
Okay. Well, yeah, well, hand size would be a large real life scorpion.
Yeah.
Huh. So, I've noticed a few things that are a bit concerning, gang.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna point out all of the concerning things with these tubes. Like,
So Akka
so-
goes around. The first tube seems relatively untouched. The second one, you can see it looks as if it's been dragged through something spiky and brambly. There's scratches along the glass. Elements are broken on the glass, and along the edges of the stone, you can see like pieces, grooves that have been dragged through. The third one is the one that has that little scorpion thing on it. The fourth and fifth, there's some broken glass, but they seem relatively safe. And then the one that really kind of catches your eye is the sixth one. You see a clean hole in the middle, and as you shift your glance, there's maybe like a dozen holes coming through it in various angles, and they seem relatively clean. You'd imagine this probably goes down onto a spiked pit of some kind.
So, which one is the one that we want to try to get through?
Each one looks like it's about sized for one person, about a medium-sized creature. And I would say with that roll, Akka, you've discovered that the first, fourth, fifth, and seventh ones appear the safest. That's a
First,
29.
fourth, fifth, and seventh.
Yeah.
So,
Are any of those with the scorpion?
The third one is the one with the scorpion.
Is the scorpion alive?
it's dead.
Live scorpion?
Make an investigation check, Morwen. Or make a nature check. I guess technically.
Oh, wonderful.
Morwen goes and, like, bats at it and then picks it up in her mouth.
What is it?
15.
15.
Which is actually
You-
pretty lucky considering.
You stick out a boot and you tap it and it crumbles into the ground, and you'd imagine it's probably dead.
Guys,
Yeah.
dead scorpion. I think.
So, of the four that are the safest looking, which of those is the safest looking?
With the 29, you would imagine, based on the shape of the room, because they're next to each other, the fourth and fifth. They have no danger probably to others. Well, to one side. So those both the safest.
Okay. I'm gonna
I'm kind of
walk
confused.
towards the fourth and just sort of hover next to it.
What like are these tubes? Like
So-
are they like slide like water slide situations?
Al,
Like,
you know when
what's-
you go to the bank and you're at the drive-through and you can put all the coins in that vacuum tube and it shoop,
Or like
Yeah.
the Jetsons or
Very much like that.
Futurama.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
The Futurama tubes.
So it's not something. Okay.
it's not like a slide, it's very much like a vacuum tube almost.
Okay. So it's not necessarily like, or we might be able to just like shimmy around in it.
You might,
Okay.
but there's a
Okay.
they're all at this level. So if
Mhm.
you were to step in and you were able to activate them somehow, you could probably just go down.
Okay.
How do we make them work?
Probably magnetism again. Similar to back underwater when we were also when I was probably in the Shadowfell already.
Okay.
Which again, none of us have access to magnetism. So Red Door's only a staircase away.
I'm just gonna. Well, first of all, so what Morwen had said earlier, I'm gonna pull out the linked to
Sending stone?
Anasu
Okay.
sending
stone?
stone.
Okay. Sure. What do you say?
Just hello.
You just hear ah!
You speak into it and you do immediately get something back, but it's raspy, heavy breathing, and you hear it for almost 30 seconds before it goes quiet.
Oh, like the phone call I got right before.
Yeah.
Hate that.
Like, okay. What is your name?
Heinrich, you would remember the last time that you used this.
Yeah.
You had heard a strange voice mention something about the lector, the market of souls. You would imagine that whoever has this is not Anasu.
Right.
But you say what?
So what is your name?
Some
What is
time,
your
a couple of
quest?
seconds go by, and you can still hear the breathing. But then you hear, I haven't done this voice in a second because this is from a long time ago, so I'm going to try this. But you hear the voice from the other side of the stone just kind of speak out. I speak for the lector. Who are you? Hello. No, I'm kidding.
Must have been a butt.
Sorry.
Can you,
Wrong
can
stone.
you hear me? Am I on mute? Is my microphone attached? Hello, IT. No, yeah, you just hear him say that.
Okay. I mean, I'll just kind of put that back in the bag for now.
Okay, you do so.
The lector.
They
Lectern?
speak. They
Lector?
speak for the lector.
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 I had the Lord written before, so let's go ahead and change that.
He's just talking for JC and the boys.
All right. Anyways, be like, yeah, that's not really honestly. I don't think that connection's gonna be much help. Maybe. Ooh. No, I do take it back out. I am. Oh, I guess I don't put it away. I'm gonna like try to imitate his voice. Do you know the Grey Lady?
Make a deception check, I guess.
Sure. Oh shit! Everyone down here talks like that. All right, good to know.
It's not so much that you're trying to deceive him to think that he's him, because
Oh, I'm not trying to be him. I'm just be like,
right.
Your cousin, coworker,
I
friend.
got you.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Larry from
you can hear there's a pause.
Call.
There's a pause. If you have nothing to offer, don't call again. But you can find us at the Soul Market. You feel all of a sudden your pocket grow just a little bit heavier.
What's in my pocket?
You reach in.
Well, sure. Is it a business card?
As you pull out this
Really?
small stone about the size of the sending stone, you can see actively happening in it this little bit of, it looks like almost gunpowder along the edges, burning up and fizzling this kind of charred rune into it. And the smoke kind of rises off. You still see the red flare as it sinks down and the stone cools. You can smell hot rock. It's infernal, so you can read it, just as the Soul Market. And you would imagine, having used this method of teleportation before, somebody with access to that spell would be able to use this to get there.
Cool.
So business card.
Sick. I just got a fast transport. A quick travel.
That was pretty good. That was a pretty good roll, and you weren't really asking for a whole lot. So
no, that's true. I just maybe strike a deal about info if they hated her or knew anything about
that's
her.
a good place to get info. It's
That's kind of
expensive.
yeah. All right. Okay, I'd just be like, hey guys, check this out, but maybe later. All right.
He just flashes out this infernal sigil still smoking.
This thing's
Maybe
pretty
later.
cool. Just
What is it?
I hear like, hey guys,
Do they
check this
catch a
out," and I'm
glimpse
like,
of
"That
what
means
it
nothing
said?
to me."
Do you speak
I would
infernal?
hold it out for you.
Yeah, you speak infernal, right?
Yeah.
Then yeah, you can see it just says the Soul Market.
Does
Looks
that mean anything? It's not the Soul Exchange, right?
The Soul Exchange is in Nocturne.
Right.
No,
So
that-
the Soul
although-
Market, is that anything that I've heard of?
No, but given the fact that you know what the Soul Exchange is, if they're anything similar, probably a pretty dark place.
Yeah.
And you'd imagine, given just like the etymology of it, probably similar in function. You didn't hear the voice that Heinrich heard, and so you can't really
Right.
piece together that it might be of a more darker bend, but perhaps similar or related in some way.
Yeah. But like an infernal token that says Soul Market
Yep.
doesn't need to be much
It's still
more than
smoking,
that to
too.
be
It's
pretty
Yeah.
pretty ominous given what I know
You
about
say
the soul
walking around
exchange.
looking at the stretched out skin door with the hand sticking out of it.
This place is so bad. What's heating
Well-
like in the winter? Is it expensive?
So you kind of breathe in, and it's humid. And as you kind of look around, there is no clear source of humidity, but you smell that iron, and you're imagining it is coming from. I mean, you're breathing in the kind of mist that is viscera and gore.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think we should do here?
Well, let's get these things to work. You're good with
How?
tools and devices and stuff.
Is there any levers?
Make an investigation check, Morwen.
Yeah, I want to see if I can figure out how to make these work.
I'm rolling really well for being stupid. 18.
Yeah, you look around for a little bit. You don't find much. You did see Akka make a really close inspection. You'd imagine if there was a lever, he would have found one, and he didn't seem to indicate there was.
Okay, how
Maybe
about
he's lying to you.
switches?
Switches. He didn't say that.
Buttons?
Go ahead. No. You don't see anything of that nature. What I will say is, though, as you're looking around more, when you do see in one of these lifts, there's holes poked in the bottom, and as part of your investigation, you get down and you put one of your big gleaming cat tabaxi eyes in, and looking down, you can see it is like a tube of glass. The glass tube is broken in places. You see cracks, and then it kind of drops down into darkness. But this one is already damaged. You may be able to do something. You've seen Heinrich, just wreck things. You could maybe just rip this out, put his fingers in it, and pull it away. There's all kinds of things you could do. But there is a little bit of a drop.
So as far as I can tell, or as far as me personally, tell me if I'm wrong, they're just like magnetized circular platforms, like elevators on this level in tubes that somehow go down. Now, if I stand on one, is it heavy enough? Well, if I use my restrained strength, can I like gauge?
Huh.
You know what I mean?
So you're trying to almost like shove it down a little bit?
Yeah.
Like you want to put
without
one foot on the
breaking
ground.
it, so
sure.
yeah, just to
So
see
one
if,
foot on the
my
ground,
weight
and then
alone
you're
would lower it, or what?
Okay. Yeah, make an athletics check. I love it.
Okay.
Great. Let's
Do
use
it
this
on
goal for
1, 4,
everything.
5, or
I'm trying to use this with restraint. Since I don't have a
11.
brain, I have muscles now, so.
Yeah.
Not great. That's a 14.
So you watch Heinrich kind of grabs onto the side of the stone. You put one leg, settle down on the flat part of the stone, one on the platform, and you kind of push. Your foot slides on the metal. Your hands aren't able to gain purchase on the rock. It doesn't seem to move. You'd imagine you probably could do it. Not that time.
Okay.
You also want to be mindful about which one you're doing it on.
Yeah, I was going to do number 1, the close one.
Okay, yeah.
You said 1, 4,
5,
7.
1, 4, 5, 7. Yep.
Looking up, does it look like the tube continues upward as well? I'm looking in I'm still over at 4, so I'd be looking at 4.
No. But
Okay,
interesting
so-
point. So as you look up, there is an element of stone, like a circle stone above each one. Getting closer and using your other investigation check, it's metal. It's not magnetized, but you would imagine something could probably make it so. And so when these platforms go down, that is probably what is used to bring it back up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Are there any arcane rune slots, by the way? Arcane tiles?
At this point, you have not seen any arcana tiles or slots for them.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyone have any idea how to magnetize these lifts? Or should we do what I suggested and go back to the red door?
I'm going to try to force the disc down.
Okay, make another athletics check.
As Heinrich is doing this for a second time, I'm gonna look at Shay and be
25.
like, "Are we just gonna let this happen?"
And right as Akka says, are we just gonna We're just gonna let this happen. This whole thing slides down. There's a painful, like metal on metal as it scrapes down a good 3 feet. It to an angle, and you can actually see now down both sides like a coin almost settled. It's not quite big enough to go all the way down, so it's like stuck at a sideways angle. You can see a
Like
little
a
bit on
manhole
either side,
cover.
like a manhole cover, yeah. And you can see on either side a little bit of darkness down, space in either way. With 60 feet of dark vision, if you get up close and kind of peer down, you can just see the bottom.
Oh no, I'm just gonna grab like, is there debris, stone, something?
Yeah. There's little bits of rock around.
Pick one up, light it, drop it.
Okay, you light it. Light takes the space, and as you drop it down, suddenly all of the light and shadows seem to swallow it up into the darkness as the light takes this tunnel. Looking down, you see a drop about 60 feet, and then kind of bounce. The shadows moving a little bit. You see little elements of reflection coming off something from the other direction, but it just sits there.
I'm gonna watch for a sec just to see if there's any movement or reaction to that down there.
You
Any
see a
presence?
few little bits of pebbles tumble down the side of this element of rubble, but nothing seems to react.
Well, if we all squeeze and shimmy down, we got this one.
Shay and Morwen for sure.
I mean,
I'll go
Shay
with
could
the
just
float.
drop.
You can float. The problem is the space to squeeze through. Both
Uh-huh.
of you in your armor, it'll be a little tight. You can certainly try.
Yeah, I mean, I just force it even more.
Yeah. And I'll say, you know what, actually,
Armor off.
Heinrich, if you want, you can reach down and kind of grab the platform, and with your
Yeah.
belt of stone giant strength, no problem. You
Okay.
lift it up. It's about 250 pounds, but you lift it up and just kind of fling it to the side.
Oh, no, I'll set it down.
Okay, you
I'll
set it down.
set it down. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, big strong douchebag now. I'm just like, gingerly place it.
Yeah, I roll for Chad. So you place it down. Little bits of dust kind of roll out from underneath.
So
and you
here's
can
our way down.
I will go last on this one.
It is a 60-foot drop, but it is wide enough that should some of you, well, actually all of you, could put your arms out and touch either side. For Morwen and Shay, as the shorter members of this party, you'll have to reach way out and you'll be able to touch. It's going to be a little harder. However, Akka and Heinrich, the reverse problem, this is fairly narrow, and with your armor, you're just big enough to go down, not touching anything. You're going to kind of like bounce if you can just float like Akka.
I'll just squeeze and just slide.
Yeah, you
I'll
can
just do
try.
like persistent pressure and
Oh
like
god,
let go
and
push,
against
let
your
go push.
armor, it's just gonna be like.
Well, I was
the
thinking if
whole
you do your
time.
nails all the way down.
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna do my nails on the way down.
So if you would like, you can certainly do that. Do you want to try that? Okay. So
I'm leading the charge. I'm sorry for making us go the long way, but
make an athletics or
sorry.
acrobatics check, your choice.
Yeah, I mean that's athletics.
I'm gonna wait till you're both there so that if I fall, you can catch me, and it's your fault if I'm hurt.
Okay.
Okay.
That is a 24.
24. You watch as Heinrich looks down. He kind of begins doing what you said, Morwen. He starts like pushing his back in, and he's going to slide down. Really quickly, you hear this as your metal like foot scrapes along the stone. You begin to fall. Your hand, almost without really thinking about it, you reach out, and it just sticks about 3 inches into the stone. You are now like your hands in the rock on either side, like stopping little bits of pebbles down. But you carefully now just make your way, and you find with your strength, without using your legs, just upper body strength alone, you can like maneuver down with your arms.
I'll do that.
You make it down to the bottom. Heinrich, you're the first one to settle down. This space, the same shape, this half circle, a little bit larger. You can see where the other tubes come down. One of them kind of all the way over down the end. Let me find my old notes here. You can see the sixth one, the one almost all the way opposite you. There is 12 spears that have been wedged into debris at the bottom. And you would imagine that is where all those holes come from. That platform would have just settled down, impaling whoever was aboard with 12 spears. Looking over at the third, you see where the doorway would be, where you now kind of stand on your tube. There is the corpse of a dwarf, almost like skeletal features, but the skin mummified. And as you're looking at it, you can see out of the mouth the scorpion kind of crawl out, move around, and disappear down the back of like this old leather armor.
Mhm.
It kind of tracks with the scorpion, the desiccated scorpion that you saw previously. And then at the bottom of the second one, there are elements of barbed wire protruding from the tube itself. And you would imagine the tube would have dragged whoever was in it through a 60-foot descent of barbed wire and glass. So that would have been fun. But you
Sure.
now find yourself at the bottom and looking around into the space. There is a massive, at first, it's as if hundreds of dwarves are staring at you. And your heart kind of stops. And beyond them, a huge figure. But as your eyesight kind of adjusts to the little bit of light drifting off the pebble at your feet, it's statues. You see in front of you about 100 dwarves, some kneeling, some covering their faces, all of them kind of carved out of material I forget. All are carved out of this kind of very kind of plain gray stone, but the features are exquisite. Each has shackles around the hands and feet. They've rusted and corroded with time, and so they seem to almost like they've stained the elements of stone on the arms and legs. The chains go out and then down into the stone itself. All of these chains kind of rise in twisted bundles into the hands of a statue giant, full scale, holding just bundles of rusted chains in its hands. You can see this seems to be a memorial of some kind. These dwarves kind of crowded together, some like holding on to each other. You can see. Make a perception check. Because you're looking for this.
3.
That is what you see.
I'll wait till everyone else gets down here. Anyway.
You can see kind of in the center of it in the distance, there's a plaque, but from this distance, you can't make it out.
Fine. We'll go over
Who's
there.
going down next?
It's fine.
I will go last.
I mean, if it's fine, I'll go.
Shay, make an acrobatics check or athletics check, your choice. Same thing for you, Morwen.
I'm going last.
Okay.
I'll go just before Shay, and I'll just float down.
Okay. So, Morwen, make an athletics or acrobatics check.
Acrobatics
Yeah.
for a 29.
Yeah, no problem. Morwen, you like find the little elements of grooves in the wall, and using your talons, you're able to kind of just slide down. No issue. Akka, you levitate without issue. Shay, you can walk down walls, and so with no roll. you
I can
just-
also drop
you-
70 feet without
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
damage.
So, which do you do?
I'm jumping straight off.
Okay. So there's a moment, Shay, where you're alone. You kind of stand right in the doorway. You look back and you can see these open flesh doors. And then you just step off, disappearing. Akka, as you land and you step out, you just hear Shay land, barely. And turning around, she's just right there. All of you now down here can see this dwarven memorial. You see about 100 statues, stone dwarves, somberly crowded together. You see this giant. And Akka, with your passive perception and you having been on the lookout for it, you can see on the giant's forehead, gleaming in the dark, this almost bluish, glowing glass-like material in the shape of a sigil. And you've been looking for this for some time. This is diotic metal. Make a perception check.
Okay. I was about to ask, is the sigil something that I would recognize or something that would indicate who the figure of the statue is?
And sorry, my mistake. It is not on the giant. This is on one of the dwarves towards the center
Oh,
of this
okay.
monument. That's my mistake. Sorry.
No worries. That was
Oh,
a
there we go.
natural
Great.
20.
Natural 20?
Mm-hmm.
Total?
Total is 27.
Holy shit.
Okay, you step past everybody into the space, crossing the 10 feet before the monument. You can see a number of things. There's exactly 100 stone dwarves. And
I
in some of
counted.
them, yeah, just quick, shoo, counted. The one in the middle with this diotic sigil, it's dwarvish. You don't speak dwarvish, correct?
I do speak Dwarvish.
You do speak dwarvish. And easy enough, it's a name and one that you've seen before. It says Arista. This single statue amongst all of them is the only one without corrosions and without chains.
Hmm.
As you're looking across these statues with that roll, there are eyes in these statues. Some carved, some real.
Oh, like that
You
bag
look
of
next to
eyes.
you can see one of them, and as you look at it, it just kind of falls onto the ground. A little bit of blood, just stone within, no connection. And then the one next to that is metal, gleaming green, adamantine. You look at this kind of plaque right in front of this statue representative of Arista, the heavy hand, and it reads, 5 amongst the chains, 4 down the drains, 3 in the mound, and 2 near the ground. To stop the tears, you must. That is what you see.
Can we get that
And-
like written down so I don't
Yes.
have to remember it?
I'll think about it, but either way, you also notice in this space, you hear ever present the kind of these bits of parchment all across the walls in the space. They're thick, almost like wallpaper in this space, and across them, these painful sigils kind of move. There is something to them. And Heinrich, if you were to cast detect magic, it's not magic, but you see all of this, Akka, with your natural 20. What would you all like to do in this space?
Did I see
I
the
would-
eyeball fall out?
No.
I would read out the 5 chain, 4.
So he says
The
5
drain.
amongst the chains, 4 down the drains, 3 in the
3
mound,
in the mound.
and 2 near the ground.
1
To stop the tears, you must.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Does I'll investigate this plaque as well and transcribe it.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
it seems
so you do
important.
that.
But does it seem like it cuts off? You must, and then does it imply
It's-
there's more?
In a way, it does. But you make an insight check.
Cool.
To stop the tears,
19.
you must.
Okay. You begin to look at this and unclear. You begin to kind of think about it. You must. It does seem to cut off.
Like intentionally,
look-
it's not like ripped away or broken.
Yes, there's nothing broken. It does appear to just cut off. It is abrupt for sure. And worth noting, this is not like printed into this. Looking closer, there are elements that have been chipped away. This is purposefully left, but definitely by hand and definitely not the original inscription. You can see elements of the original inscription. I would say with your feature, your warlock feature, it's dwarvish that's kind of ruined beneath and it reforms. You can see beneath it says, in memory of the 10,000 souls who never found their freedom.
Hmm.
But this other thing kind of chipped and carved over it.
Okay. So there's 5 of something important in these chained creatures here.
You also see, Heinrich, you now looking, and Akka as well, there are 3 doors that exit this space on the northern wall, the longest wall that is flat. The wall then becomes like the curved half circle behind. The tubes are along the curvature of the wall. So this whole room shaped like a watermelon slice. Through the flat part, 2 of these big gated doors are open. You can see the metal draws back into the wall for 2 of them. The third is closed all the way on the western side. The center one and the right one are open. Through the center one, the only one that you can see through the dwarves that are part of the statue, you can see like a long hallway that opens up to the left and the right just beyond. And then far, maybe like 70, 80 feet, and just dimly lit by something, you see stairs going up.
I guess I would look around at all of this, like, not all of the statues, but I would see if there's like a pattern to the real eyes versus the metal eyes versus the stone eyes.
Okay. Make a flat intelligence check, but make it at advantage. Because The eyes are important.
5 among the chains.
Flat intelligence?
Yeah.
That is a dirty 20.
3
You begin
along
to
the
walk
pipes, 4
amongst
along
these
the pipes,
rows.
2
You
along the
see.
pipes.
Thank you, Moron. Living up to the 8 intelligence. I love the role playing. You
Pipes.
see
Pipes.
pipes. E backwards like Edward.
Yes.
Aka. You begin to walk amongst these statues, seeing the various poses, this very like somber piece. And here and there, these real eyes, but you're also seeing, and not many of them, these adamantine eyes. 1, 2. You hear Heinrich in the background muttering. And as you move about, you do see that there are 5, at least that you can see, adamantine eyes amongst these dwarves. Well, 4 amongst the dwarves. You
And
see the
then-
final one in the giant.
Huh.
Too
5
small,
among,
but in the
5
giant.
among the chains. What's the
Do they seem like they're meant to be like popped out?
Do you want to try to take one out?
I'm worried that it's gonna trigger something, so I'd want to be like cautious of that as
Make
well.
an investigation check.
Joe, can I get it one more time? I'm just gonna fucking write it
Yeah.
down.
5 amongst the chains, 4 down the drains, 3 in the mound, and 2 near the ground to stop the tears you missed.
That was a 23.
You look around, and the statue that you're looking at, kind of an older dwarven woman. The features are smooth. They're purposefully meant not to be especially defined. But you look around, you don't see any wires. You don't see any arcane sigils. You don't see anything that especially stands out to you as a trap in this particular figure.
All right, I'm gonna give it a try. I guess I would just try to like pop it out with the dagger.
Okay. You all watch as Akka pulls a dagger out, kind of
Or I
wedges
guess-
it behind this
yeah.
old woman's eye, and just you pop it, and it very easily slides out and into your hand. Almost
Cool.
no force required.
Okay, I'm gonna go and collect the other
Wait,
3.
before you do, note which ones you're taking them out of. I feel like we need to stop the tears by returning all of their eyes, and 5 are already in the right place, maybe, and 4 we'll have to find down in the drain, and 3 we'll have to find in the ground.
No, see, I thought that these were the
In the
5
mound,
chains.
MOUND, yeah.
And then 2 were what?
So
Near the ground.
Near the ground. Okay.
I'm thinking that we're gonna have to find more of these. 5 here, 4
To
somewhere
stop
with
the tears
drains.
somewhere, though. We need to stop the tears with these
I don't think
things.
they're talking about the tears of these statues. I think
Maybe.
it's maybe.
Just saying, yeah.
If you guys need extra eyes, I have a jar. Just saying.
Yeah,
You guys
just
thought it was
saying.
weird.
Just
Okay.
saying.
Well, let's collect them and then go find more and then figure out where they go.
Okay.
More eyes for my jar.
Akka, one by
Uh,
one, you collect these adamantine eyes. You took the 3 from the dwarves. You now have 4. Looking up,
And
there
then-
is 1 within this giant's face.
I'm gonna go float up there and snag that one as well.
Okay. You
Wait!
float up.
Can I stop him by yelling, wait?
Okay.
What?
I'm gonna just be like, hold on, and just detect magic first.
Okay. You see the glyph, celestial glow to life in Heinrich's face. Looking at this, you're doing detect magic?
Yeah.
As far as you can tell, within the statues, there is no magic.
Uh-huh.
There is
There's probably bad vibes though.
an element of
Bad
magic
jujubes.
coming from not magic, but there is this aura that comes off that sigil on the statue of Arista's face, and you recognize it as very similar. And it comes to you that this is diotic metal that has been inlaid into the sigil.
Oh.
It's a small amount, but it is, like on the forehead, it makes the symbol for
Diadem.
Arista in Dwarvish.
Hmm.
Kind of.
Well, I'll take that. I'll be like, okay, you're good. Carry on, I guess.
It's set into the head of the
Yeah. I'll
statue.
just
Okay, make an athletics check.
Just crush the fucking statue.
Yeah, that's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Yeah. You put your hand around it, and as you tighten it, it's like this Hellboy moment where the stone around kind of cracks, and you just take the head off.
I
In
don't
your
want the whole
hands,
head.
you kind of take it and shake free the
I don't
element.
want the whole head.
It comes away with, as you try
That
to
was
pull it
a
away, you pull
dirty
off the whole
20.
head.
Yeah, but I have restraint. It's not like over rolling exists.
It's you're using a lot of strength.
Yeah,
This
I
is
know,
not precision
but
work.
it is.
And
the intention,
this
okay.
is set into the statue very tightly. You would need to crumble the stone away in some way to get it out. But you pull away. It's like a dwarven symbol. It's almost like a live, laugh, love like letter that you could just stick on the wall somewhere, but it glows this beautiful glassy blue. It's almost like there's like this ethereal nature to the inside of it that shines from within. Very faint, but metal pulled from the upper realms.
Cool. So a small amount of diotic metal.
It is a half a pound symbol of diotic metal.
Okay. Components. There you go. I'll just work while you're doing the rest of the eye removal. I'll just work to like remove the stone, so I don't have to carry this whole thing around.
Sure, yeah, you kind of scrape it away. It's like one of those things that you get where it's like there's like a dinosaur fossil hidden inside some clay, and you have to kind of like chip away at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you carefully begin your excavation of this artifact. Morwen, you asked about the eyes, and looking through as you see Akka taking these metal eyes out, there are real eyes staring back at you from some of these dwarves. Some carved, but some are real.
Gross.
Yeah.
I mean, are they like? I don't know if this sounds stupid. Are they like following?
Make
Like, are
a
they just like
perception
in
check
a
as you kind
like
of
dead
move.
socket?
You go
Make a perception check as you kind of move back and forth and look.
it's like those paintings that you get.
That's a
Falling.
26.
They are not. For a moment, you get kind of worried and you kind of move, and you see one kind of shift and then fall out. Clearly not following you.
Is there some kind of pattern?
Make a pattern, make an intelligence check. You watch as Akka goes through. You don't see like a dispersal pattern necessarily.
17?
17.
Like, are these people important
But
specifically?
eyes in particular, like...
So the eyes in particular, you don't necessarily see a pattern. There is no single eye set in the same statue. You do notice that. There are certainly 5, and as you double check watching what Akka does, he doesn't miss any. There are certainly only 5 of these metal eyes. Aside from that, you don't see any other patterns.
Okay.
Was I
Wait, so,
able
like,
to?
why are they just randomly falling out now?
Because we're disrupting the space, and bad things are going to happen.
I mean, fair enough.
Was I able to successfully retrieve the 5th one without bad things imminently happening?
Yes, you're able to pull the 5th one out without issue.
Great. All right. So now we got to find a place with drains, and then a mound, and 2 underground,
Near the ground.
near the ground.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That
All
red
right.
door is seeming better and better each.
This is kind of fun. What are you talking about? I'm stretching my brain back out.
Maybe you would have liked that imp's joke.
So as you look at this and you recovering all the eyes, there are these 2 doors beyond in the northern part. One straightforward, one to the right, and Akka, as you move amongst the statues, you can see that they both lead to the same open space beyond. Akka, for you, there are elements that are kind of familiar. You see a table that has a whole bunch of rollers on it and these bins underneath. You've seen things like this used to like shake things loose from stone, or things like that. And then looking across to the western side of the room, you see a peculiar kind of sight. So, just a second here. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Tied to a stone chair with feet and hands bound behind him, you see another gray dwarf, very much alive. Bald, wearing dark, smudged tunic. It looks to be silk of some kind. Almost like a toga, like a Roman style toga. You can see it like comes down, it's cinched at the waist, has like a little flare out kind of thing that goes to like mid thigh. He is wearing a black belt, but he is tied to this chair, and you can see surrounding him there is a mound of various rubble. You can see like a crowbar sticking out. There's like an oily cloth. You see elements of like metal and glass, just debris. His eyes look up at you, and you see very slowly, Akka making eye contact with you. They look up, and your eyes follow his. And above him, there is a massive stone, like a column. You've seen things like this used to leverage heavy things to crush other things. And looking at the platform that this gray dwarf is on, this is the platform that would be used to kind of, it's almost like a hydraulic press, using gravity and a massive object instead of any actual hydraulics.
And he's about to be crushed, or in the spot where he would be about to be crushed?
Yes, tied to a chair.
How far away is he?
At this moment, he is about 80 feet away, or about 60 feet away. He's just on the edge of your dark vision. You see elements of the mound of things behind him. You don't actually see like definitions as to what it could be. You can see the eyes through the darkness looking at you, these dark eyes. And though these are not known to be nice creatures, and the one that you know of, the Gray Lady, very not nice, there is an element of
pleading.
Yes, certainly.
I'm gonna dash over there as fast as I can to get within 30 feet, and then telekinetically shove the chair out of the way of getting crushed.
Okay, so as you guys are walking, you see Akka take the last eye. Shay, you start to consider like the patterns here, and suddenly you hear as well. Actually, no, because you have the infiltrator weave, don't you?
Yeah.
So you hear faint metal footsteps on the ground, and looking up, you can see Akka taking off. Akka, what is your movement speed?
35.
35. So you cross 35 feet. You see the eyes widen slightly as you feel resistance suddenly at your feet. Just for a moment, as you snap a line. Suddenly, you can see this massive thing above shift, little bits of dust coming down. You see, even at this distance, as you rush forward, the dwarf kind of sucking in breath. And because it is 10:12, this is where we're going to take our break for the evening. But Akka, you certainly set something off. So thank you for rushing forward, and thank all of you for joining us. It is 10:13. We have a little countdown that will be in the bottom right corner of your screen. When that ends, we'll be right back. We'll see you then. Welcome back to Adventures in Alberon, our 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Thank you for hanging out with us through the break, for watching the beautiful slideshow of art that Tina's put together from the various bits of art that people who are watching have made. We've had things from Erica Volova and from Sophie Bischoff, who has become quite famous over the past couple of weeks. Congratulations to her. But just jumping back into our adventure here, you had all left off in this dark space in front of this sort of monument to dwarves. And Akka, as you had kind of looked through, you had noticed this individual, this gray dwarf, kind of off and in this mound, tied and shackled to this chair. And as you rushed forwards to save him, you seemed to trip something. You felt this ting, kind of a lion snapping, and the stone begins to descend. This massive, multi-ton stone, released from its moorings or whatever it held it aloft. And as it crumbles down, you'd imagine you have about 3 seconds. With your
All right.
35 feet of movement, you can cross about 15 feet. That brings you to within 40 feet of this guy.
Before he gets smooshed.
Yep. So you have one action to do something. What are you doing? For a moment, everything slows down.
Damn. I don't think I'm close enough to hit him with my.
Anything, Akka?
I guess.
Shove? Can't you shove?
Yeah, but I have
That's
to be
too far
30
out.
feet. I have to be within 30 feet of him.
And you, Akka, even at this distance, feel a light mist.
Oh, wait.
Nope.
Too
you
late.
say-
Too long. Too slow.
Echoing through the space.
Yeah, no, it
Little
have worked anyway.
speckles of red kind of on the bottom of your chin, not quite reaching you from that distance to the top. You don't get it in your eyes, but this Geraldo the Grey Dwarf pulverized.
I wouldn't have known his name.
The stone slightly above the space, as if something underneath too strong for this to crush,
Oh.
but it wasn't
Huh.
Geraldo. You see
Huh.
a little rivulet of red begin to snake its way into the stones from underneath.
Just run over. Oh my god, is he okay? And I'm gonna try to lift it.
Make an athletics check, sure.
I'm
Is
stupid
he-
now. I'm not
Stupid
actually
now.
stupid now, but I'm just like, what the hell?
Is he
I
like
don't know.
totally
Oh,
pulverized?
Yeah,
25.
25.
I'm
Heinrich, you
16s
get
and 17s on strength checks like all fucking night.
adrenaline carries you over. You rush underneath, your hands jam underneath, and you lift. And for a moment, you actually feel upwards momentum. And Akka, you looking, you see just the ruined elements of a face mashed into the ground as Heinrich lifts about an inch up before your fingers slip away too heavy. Akka again, a little bit on the chin.
But it's not fully down.
No, it's as if something, little elements beneath are a little too strong for whatever this is to crush.
It's
Just be like-
probably adamantine.
I'm just
It's probably
turning-
things that
I'm
we
turning
need.
backwards, be like, don't worry, it's all an illusion. Like I said before, the door, this, don't worry about it.
That's not
I'm
an
like
illusion. I
convinced
can
it's an
feel the blood.
illusion. I'm
You see
convinced.
the illusion spread across Akka's face like a
Yeah, I'm like,
mist.
that's fine. The skin felt real on the door too, so like we're fine here. And I'm just gonna like, cast light on probably a bit of bone. But I'm like, oh yeah, this little rock should do.
Yeah, sure.
I just cast light and be like, what the hell is keeping it up? Is that more of them eyes that we need?
Probably
Shay,
more.
you watch as Heinrich picks up what looks an awful lot like a tooth, and fing, it turns into like this light object. And as he shines underneath Heinrich, it's wet beneath the space.
Uh-huh.
Elements of blood still dripping off the top part. It is only about an inch gap.
Got it.
No-
The 5 gallon of water from the-
Okay, sure. You take out the decanter from the
Hosing
water,
it
you put your
off.
thumb on it, and
Pressure
hose
wash.
the first couple of feet of the inside of this off. Akka, Shay, Morwen, you watch as all of a sudden from beneath this red tinged water begins to bubble out. There are ribbons of flesh that come away with it. Amongst those things, as you do apply a lot of water to it, it does brush out a few things. Just a second here. This cloth comes away in the water. It seems to be covered in oil. And as the water takes it away, within the red, there is this rainbow hue that settles across. It was probably oiled. It is now just wet. You see a crimson curtain, torn, kind of moth-eaten, come away. And you see a bent-up metal candlestick also roll out. A lot of pieces of glass. And no eyes. But as you get down now and look, no longer this gore and viscera clouding your view. You do see 2 points of bright green metal, or dark green metal, glinting. 2 of these eyes staring out. And after just a little bit of examination, you see a third, a little bit further back.
Are they all underneath being held in place by this?
Yes, all 3 were within this mound of debris.
Okay. Okay. We gotta get this back up. The things that we're looking for are in there. I could try again, but I don't think any of you guys could actually help.
Would you like help?
Maybe you could?
I could probably
Just
help.
lift it just enough so that someone could like get a stick, your spear even, and just knock them out.
Sure.
Okay. Heinrich, make an athletics check. Shay, make a melee attack roll, and both of you can make those at advantage as you're both helping each other.
Okay.
I was gonna say, can I use my telekinesis to try and grab them when he lifts it?
So give me a second. We're gonna see if we need that.
Okay.
Sorry, hold on.
Math it up.
Sorry, not yeah.
Is
That's
that lower
20
intelligence?
22.
22. Okay, Shay.
27.
Okay, so you lift it with your fingers. You can feel your hand shaking. You feel your forearms almost on fire as you try to lift this, and you just budge it. You feel little bits of stone rain down on the elements of your cloak that cover your shoulders. And as you do, Shay, you swing hard with your staff?
Spear.
Spear. There is a scrape and sparks follow as the metal digs across the stone, but with it, 2 of these eyes ting, ting, into the wall and then kind of roll away. 2 of them are afraid. Heinrich, you set it down again. 1 more eye kind of wedged about 10 feet back.
Can I get to a better angle on it? Can I go around it? It's like a circular thing, right?
Yeah. Hang on 1 sec here. Yeah, there is a very thin line between it and the wall. It's a tight squeeze for you to get in there, but you can see there is a kind of broken spot, almost as if it's cracked with these repeated drops on this adamantium. It is small. You are kind of driving a wedge into it.
How far up is he able to lift it each time?
The first time was about 3 inches. The second time was about 1 inch.
Okay.
Before I lift it, I'm just wait a minute. Shay, don't you have something that could just easily make this into something else?
Not permanently. I can make it seem that way.
That was Carranza.
I was hoping that magic staff could do something. Do something with this circumstance.
It can, but that's a far greater power that I may not be able to contain.
Okay. Gotcha.
Staff is powerful, y'all.
Gotcha. Don't want to ruin this eyeball thing that we're trying to get out. Look, I could try it probably 1 more time before it starts to really wear me down, I'm guessing.
Wait, what's the deal? We just can't reach one of them?
There's only 1 left. I mean, maybe Akka, you got telekinetic powers. Can you reach far back and
can you just
slide it out?
Probably, if you lift it up enough.
Heinrich, your arms, you can feel your fingers they're almost attached to rubber bands. You're getting tired, but you could try 1 more time for sure.
You know what I'm gonna try to do too? Wait, is this I
Since
think I have a stick or something. I want to take one of the loose eyeballs and kind of use it like a pool stick, in the white ball, and try to
Like a
Okay.
cue ball.
Okay.
That's an
So,
intelligence talking right there. That's fine.
I love it.
That's
So there's a number of
That's-
things. And Shay, this is familiar to you.
I think Akka has the best chance to like.
Shay, you stand back and watch this unfold. You can see Heinrich getting ready. You can see like Akka kind of bending down and beginning to get ready too. This is like a serious attempt. And then behind them, Heinrich can't quite see this. You see Morwen like spread eagle on the ground, the stick in one hand, little eyeball straight down, begin to line up a shot between Heinrich's legs. Heinrich, you squatting down, make an athletics check at advantage. Akka, make a sleight of hand check, but use your intelligence modifier instead.
Okay.
And Morwen, make a sleight of hand check. Flat sleight of hand check.
Please.
Wait, so not my sleight of hand modifier, which is actually pretty good.
No, it should be your intelligence modifier because you're using the telekinetic power. So just
Do I
to
get the proficiency from it? Because
yes, yes, you
Yeah.
do.
So
Corner pocket.
I think I almost ran the full gambit here.
Okay,
I got first an 8,
okay.
and then a 25 again.
Dope.
Nice.
Okay, so Heinrich, you reach down, you grab onto the edges of this. You can feel your arms burn, and as you lift, you can actually feel the joints begin to sag in their sockets and pull against the tendons. Your entire body is on fire, but you lift it 2-3 inches, and in this moment, Akka,
27.
27, and Morwen,
Shit.
yours was a
34.
What the fuck?
Akka. You reach out with your telekinetic power, and all of this rubble to the side. The eye is not there. And then as Heinrich drops, this wet
I miss
eyeball
it?
smushes underneath. Morwen, you watch as the adamantine eye hit from your eyeball, struck with the pool cue between Heinrich's legs, strikes the adamantine eye and rolls it out behind this thing. Maybe an inch or two behind. This thing settles down now, fully flush with the ground. Akka, you hear a real eyeball squish underneath.
You're welcome.
I'm just like, where did it go?
I'll go
And then
collect
Akka,
the
you see
three
other side.
eyes.
Shay, what'd you say?
I'll go collect the three eyes.
Okay. Shay, you
And I'm
collect
just
those
gonna
and you now
stand
have
up
3
and like
adamantine
put
eyes.
some chalk on my stick and just
Pass
like
them to Akka.
Okay.
Akka, you currently have
8.
7 eyes? 8 eyes.
8.
Adamantine eyes.
Allie's
From
been
this-
writing pipes everywhere on all of my pieces of paper, and I just found another one.
but spell
These
funny.
pipes.
Pipes.
Okay, great.
It's on my bookmark, and now it's just.
Hi.
Man, I can't wait till we're back in person.
Pipes.
Hi.
Okay, so you have now, in strange ways, collected the eyes both from amongst the chains and in this mount.
I use strength to solve puzzles now.
Yeah,
You are now the barbarian.
you know, it works.
I
A
take a second
barbarian
for the
monk.
guy that got smushed. I'm like, I felt that one. His eyes were pleading.
And now you got all 3 of them, and I slap you on the back. Don't worry, it's not real. We're good. We're good.
Zaka looks up. There is still now dried because it was just like a mist, little bits of blood kind of across the lower part of his
I'll
face.
use the 1 gallon and just.
So as you look up, kind of defeated, Akka, Heinrich sprays a gallon of water in your face.
It's just like cleaning you off. It's fine.
Wet brown hair hangs over Akka's kind of almost porcelain elvish features. But no more blood.
See, it's all gone. If it was even there in the first place, you're fine. You're fine. All right, and I'm just gonna like arms, hands on my hips, just start like walking around there and be like drains and the ground. Those are the next 2.
So Heinrich,
Where
you
are
do find
drains and where is the ground?
Ground's
on
right
the
here.
eastern side of the wall, and as Morwen points to the ground, it is indeed beneath you, but you find that there is this kind of table of rollers, crushed up ore and rock, and without any real issue, I'll say, because that was just so entertaining, you can see poking out from this rubble that has fallen through one of these adamantine eyes kind of protruding a little bit. You'd imagine both of them are within this elements of rubble that have fallen through.
I played
Yes,
pool.
we
That's
do.
all I've got for you guys.
There you go.
So we need 6 more of these.
Right. There's 4 in the drain, so let's find the drain first. Near the ground is very vague, but I'm assuming it'll be the last one, since it's the last on the
Might be
list.
your 2 eyes when you fall
Drain
dead or something.
reminds me of the tubes we came down.
I will say again, you can see one of these adamantine eyes that you do not currently have poking out of the rubble beneath this kind of like a jumbling table.
Do we all see that?
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm gonna go
I
over
missed
and
the
check
whole
that out.
Table description thing. I'm sorry.
Aka kind of walks over. You can see
He saw it
beneath these
anyways, I didn't
rollers,
see it.
there is one of these eyes, and as you bend down, you imagine you could just pull it away from the rubble.
Is there sign of another one? Because this is these. Do these seem like they would be the drains, or they would be? Let's see. We did the chains, the mound. So there's the drains and the underground or on the ground. Is
Yeah,
this
And
on
so
the ground or is
as
the...
you pick them off the ground, you can add 2 adamantine eyes to your inventory.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great.
2 near the ground.
Yes.
Not trapped.
Well, they
That's the
were-
only thing that I was going to hesitate on. All right.
Huh?
So let's
Yeah,
find
I
out.
was checking to make sure that they weren't gonna set something off. When I
No,
picked
these are
them up.
nice and easy.
We already got through the hard part.
All
which was
right,
lifting
now I'm
it
looking
off of
for
that empty
looking for
Exactly.
these drains.
It was the pool shot that was really tricky. I had set that up in my mind perfectly. It's exactly
Don't
what
worry,
I planned
got
for.
you. I
Thank
got
you. I
you.
appreciate
I
it.
picked up
So
on
the
that.
snooker
You saw my
champ.
pool trap.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all of your eyes, you continue to walk forward down the one kind of hallway that you can see. And as you walk forward a little bit more, kind of looking, Heinrich, the hallway opens up beyond. You walk through this kind of narrow space, and then the stairs open up in front of you. Wide stairs, maybe 60 feet across the entire staircase, and only going up about 20 feet, 30 feet. At the top, poking out, you can't quite see the full features, but you heavily suspect that there is a ring of 7 angelic statues ahead of you.
Okay.
But you cannot quite make out their features, and from this vantage point up, you can't make out much more than just the tops of the wings and the heads.
Before we go too far, was this the only last spot that we have not investigated?
It would
Before
seem
exiting
so,
the
but as you look to the left and right, there are doorways.
Okay.
Kind of, so you come out to a spot and looking on the wall that you walk past, looking back at the wall now at your back, you can see there's a doorway on either side. So if you were to go to your left, you can kind of walk into a room that would share a wall with the hallway that you just walked through. Almost like doubling back and into the wall.
Okay. I'm gonna guess. Sorry. Yeah, so 7 angels, we got all but 4 of their eyes. I don't think we need to go up there yet. So let's look for this drain. It's probably down low. So why don't we check out these other hallways first?
Sure. You want to go left or right?
I'm going left.
Okay.
I flip a coin. I also go left.
You go left.
I flipped the same coin.
You also got an even,
go
which is a left.
Shay, would you like to also tell us that you're going left, or
Yes, just going with it.
Keep it a
Damn.
mystery.
keep it a mystery? It's good to keep the mystery alive.
Do you go left or right? You'll never know.
At least 3 of you go left, possibly 4. And you reach this door, kind of set back into the wall. It's an odd door. You immediately see around the sides of it. Akka, you would recognize almost like gaskets. This kind of rubberized material, a little bit pitted. At the kind of side of this thing, hang on a second here, there are a couple buttons, Morwen, that kind of catch your eye. There are 3 of them.
Uh-oh.
Each one has very worn kind of writing, but caked into the actual spaces that are carved, there is this kind of what looks like some kind of an organic material, vaguely reddish brown, and it makes it difficult to read. Heinrich, you can read, I would say, the bottom one, which ironically enough says clean. Looking into this chamber, Akka, you'd imagine that this is designed to be perhaps water or airtight. And peering through the glass here, you can see on the floor there is a very large grate, perhaps a drain.
And this is like a door that is basically rubber sealed tight and has a peephole, like a glass.
Yeah, and very small. It is people. It's not quite a people, but it's like a portal.
Is it looking across? Is the other door similar?
So you walk to the right down, different 60 feet down the hallway, and you look over. It's almost a mirror kind of door. The two chambers seem almost identical. There are no controls on this one, interestingly. No button.
I would go back over to the one that does have the buttons.
Okay.
What language does the button? Is the button?
Do you scrape away the stuff that's kind of covering the?
Well, is the bottom one only legible for Heinrich?
No, I would say you could see it because it is dwarvish.
Okay, so
it looks it says clean.
Okay. Does it look like this organic material is like crusted old dead?
Yeah.
I'm gonna scrape it off, but not with my hand. I'm gonna use like the dagger that I had used to pop out
Careful,
the
don't
eyes.
push it in. Don't push anything.
Yeah, I'm
just in
gonna
case.
carefully do it so that
Make
I
a sleight of
don't
hand check.
accidentally
Do it
press
from
the
an
button.
angle. Get it from an angle so any force
Yeah,
is
I'm
not
gonna
transferred.
scrape
laterally,
across.
but-
I'm
Make
not
a sleight of
gonna
hand
push.
check at advantage because Heinrich is helping you.
I'm just like over your shoulder, like, yeah, like this, like no, yeah. Which actually
let's
we're probably
see.
in for a disadvantage.
That's
Disadvantage.
a
Yeah.
20. Dirty 20. Okay.
Dirty 20? Okay.
My sleight of hand
You-
is actually pretty good.
Yeah, you dig the dagger in, you're able to flick away elements of this filth. Heinrich helps you, kind of, but you manage to free this, and you can read, and Heinrich, you as well. The top option says water-rinse. The second option reads acid-bath. The third one just reads clean. Each is a stone button.
So this gives me the vibe of some sort of chamber for cleaning ore or other materials, maybe?
Seeing like the hydraulic press, seeing the thing that kind of jumbled things loose from stone, that would be a pretty safe guess.
This is an ore processing plant.
Is the
It
door...
is above the cold forge.
Is it locked or does it have a handle or anything?
Yeah, there's like a little kind of twist thing, and you would imagine that seals it. You can probably turn it to untwist or turn it to unlock it.
I'll stay out here and make sure Morwen doesn't push any of these buttons while you're in
I was
there.
about to say, please don't push those buttons.
In fact, Morwen should go in with.
No, I stay by the buttons.
No, you go in.
I stay by
because
the buttons.
I'm going to convince you to go
Why
in one
don't
way or another, but
you
you're gonna
two
in
go
there.
in,
Hold on, where am I going?
and I'll wait out here.
Perfect. You come in with me because I have really good looks
Heinrich.
skills.
Yeah,
You
looks
do have
cool.
really good
I'm good at
looks.
eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
not
are
good
easy
at
on the
eyes.
eye.
I'm good at eyeing.
better at that than with your words.
So who's
That's
doing
how
what?
we met.
I
I will...
don't looks
Open
good. No,
the
you
door.
look great. We're dating now.
Cat's out of the bag.
Ugh.
So where am I going with it? What's our...
Just don't stand by the buttons. Whatever happens, you're not allowed to stand by the buttons.
I'm
Well, what if
gonna...
one of them gets to be pushed? That's really unfair if I don't get to push
If
it.
If we need to.
we're gonna push the buttons, I'll let you know. I let you push it before, right?
That was a lever, not a button. It's kind of a different.
You also swatted me
It's
away
not-
from us.
isn't
and
it?
Yeah,
was
more
all
when you
good.
think back, and it was like a pretty epic hand fight that led to that.
Well,
You-
yeah,
you
but
Was
that's-
it
were
slow
able to do it with
motion?
your tail. Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
with the tail too.
So, if a button needs to be pushed, you can do it. But until that
button.
point, please, yeah, a button. Who's got the button? Please
I shall
go
get that.
and check out all the stuff in here with Akka.
No, you're going to check it out.
I don't look
But now,
so
no,
good
so
anymore.
neither of you want me near the buttons, but neither of you will go with me away from the buttons.
Okay,
I'll
fine.
go
Just
with you away from the buttons.
don't push the buttons.
See,
And I'm
Shay's
gonna
go with you. Did you hear? Shay's gonna go with you.
Okay.
I'm opening it. I'm
are we
done with
going?
these two.
Akka opens the door. There's a slight depressurization. This is indeed airtight. You pull it open on these old hinges. Shay, are you going in?
Yes.
Okay. You step through. You smell rust. And looking at the floor, it is pretty rusted. You go over to the grates. Morwen, are you going in as well?
Yeah.
Akka?
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
definitely like
Okay.
a lot of look backs at the buttons.
Sure. And Heinrich looks back at you. The only person not to enter this chamber.
Yeah, I seal it and acid wash them.
Nice.
No.
Roll for initiative. So, you
and I
won't
just put
enter.
on the jigsaw mask and go, oh, no, I'm just kidding.
Want to play a game?
Welcome to campaign 2.
I am the big bad.
Man, if only I could think of something that great. Shay,
Yes.
you are the first kind of to enter, and looking in and looking down through the grate, you can see it's water. It is not quite opaque. There is a sheen of oil across the top of it. But there is an unpleasant red cast to it that would lead you to believe it is heavily, if not primarily, blood. There are wisps that you can see kind of clearness through. And then you see just this like bubble kind of rise up and pop.
How far beneath the grate is that?
Maybe 3 inches.
Okay. No sign of any adamantine.
Making a perception check from this perspective would be pretty tough to see.
Ooh. That's a 26.
You get down on hands and knees. You put your hands into the grate and really get close. You don't see adamantine, but through this liquid, and it's thick liquid. There are chunks of it.
Viscous.
It's pulpy. You can see there are things on the ground, little bits that kind of glimmer. You can almost swear you see gold. And as you're crossing through with the 26, for just a second, you feel like you can see an eye, kind of surrounded by this bluish skin, and then just ripples. And for all of you, you see at the top of the surface level just ripples.
There's something under there.
How do we get to it?
Let's all exit the room for a second. I have a thought.
Is it time to push buttons?
It might
Do you
be
need me
time to
rip
push
the grate
buttons.
up?
No, not yet. Maybe.
Okay.
So
He's leading into the lower intelligence.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I pick things up and put them down.
I'm also like
Yep.
clearly distracting myself from something this whole time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just like, yeah, this seems fun. This is fine.
So before we test this out, let's check out the other side.
Okay.
And then
You
I'm
guys-
gonna walk to the other
Sure.
door.
You make your way there. Similar mechanism. You turn, the door opens, a little bit of air comes out. This is like the mirror side. When you come down, you can see these 2 large grates, and there's 2 of them in another room. There are bits of debris across the top of the grate, broken stone, heavily pitted and corroded. Are you trying to look into this one as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Make a
take a look.
perception check.
Take another look. Take a look, take a look, take a look in there. Ooh, that's a natural 20 that time.
Natural 20.
So that's a 27.
You look in, and through a little sliver, it's almost like somebody has dropped ink into this bloody water, and it's just clear ripples that come away. And it's like a tiny, like a liquid crevice that you can peer through of clearness. You see an adamantine eye
Hmm.
peering at you from this blue face.
Same blue face as before.
Yeah. You haven't seen something like this. And it has horns, although one of them is broken. But it disappears, kind of into this murk.
Is it... Would it be possible to try and telekinetically pull it towards me?
The creature?
Yeah.
That's a great question. So telekinesis, it's ears in the feet.
Yes. Because if I had seen it that second time again, I think I would try to get it to not swim away.
You can shove it.
Away. But shove, I can either pull it 5 feet towards or away from
Towards
me.
you. Yeah. So yeah, you can certainly try. So in this moment, as you see it begin to move away, go ahead and make it's a strength saving throw, right?
Yes, it needs to pass a DC 18 strength save.
Okay, let me go way back in my notes to see what this creature's strength is. In the water, this tiefling appears. Waterlogged, the sort of elements of like a leather armor. Looks like a trader of some kind. You see a pin, and actually, Akka, having spent some time in both Dungannon and Nocturne, it's a pin that belongs to an old trading company, now kind of defunct, actually. Just about a month and a half ago, went out of business. This creature almost breaks the surface. Morwen, you and Shay within this space, and Shay too. The two of you, Shay, you're wearing the mask?
Yes.
Yeah. The two of you see for a second before it pulls away and again beneath the water, leaving this disturbed surface that sloshes back and forth. You see Santine with two adamantine eyes.
Heinrich,
Well,
Yeah.
there were 2.
it's your friend.
What do you mean, my friend?
The one you killed.
You know this one too?
What are you talking about?
Santine.
I didn't kill her.
Oh. Are you sure? Well, I mean that's besides the point. You know, it doesn't matter. She's got new eyes.
Oh, another cool illusion to freak us out. Nice. Just
I don't think
pull 'em
these
out.
are all illusions.
You look down the water is still settling.
I'm not in there.
Yeah, I'm talking to Akka.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, how do you get it out?
Well,
I don't know. I'm not going in after. Didn't the first time, won't the
adamantine
second time.
should survive an acid wash, which is one of the options.
But they're already below the drain, so don't we have to?
Yeah, but
It's
so is
beneath
that
the drain?
creature that you know for whatever reason. And I'm not going to ask right now because it seems like there are a lot of things that you have done that I am questioning even more now.
All of
Should've-
us?
Mostly you, if we're being
Mostly
honest.
all of us.
Sure.
I'm pretty straightforward with it, though. You're the one who gets a little sneaky about it.
That's true too.
Sneaky.
And
I don't
Shay's
know.
just too quiet for me to gauge, so.
Well, I mean, if it's beneath the grate and you need to get beneath the grate regardless, why don't we just get beneath the grate?
Well, I
and
don't
we do that?
necessarily need to get beneath the grate if we can deal with the thing that's beneath the grate before going underneath, because, as I've said before,
I don't follow that logic. If it's beneath the water and you acid wash it, wouldn't the acid just hit the water and that would be it?
It would hopefully kill whatever is down there that has the eyes that we could then just, telekinetically pull up to the surface.
Okay.
How
Hold
deep
on.
is the
I've got
water
another
beneath it?
brilliant idea.
What if it just sinks and gets
I
beyond
don't
our
know, but I
grasp?
don't really want to find out
What's
either.
your idea?
Brilliant. I think I should have a fishing pole from
You do?
way
Yeah.
back when.
Yes, you do.
So I'm gonna go.
I think you got it
fishing
from
for
Thistle.
I'm gonna go fishing for something.
As you
So,
guys discuss the various merits of your
I'm gonna
plans,
take one of the other eyeballs as bait, and
Aka, you're kind of looking down, and all of a sudden, an eyeball swings past your field of vision
An
right into
actual
the water.
eyeball?
Yep.
Oh.
You follow the line up to this pole that then is now in Morwen's hands. Morwen is fishing. Morwen,
yes, sir.
You get a bite.
The exclamation point.
Press A.
you don't catch anything.
Not yet.
It's true,
Morwen
it's a
sits
waiting
down.
game.
Yeah,
It's a
sure. It's
waiting
called
game.
fishing, not catching. You spend a little time doing this. We'll get back to that, I guess. Meanwhile, everybody not fishing for sentient.
So, I
Don't
think
scare the fish. Don't.
that's only 2 of the eyes.
What
But-
about the other spot?
Maybe they're separate.
Well, I'll just walk in now.
Something's weird about
Okay, so
this.
you enter the chamber.
If the door closes behind me, can't believe I had to do this, but I look down the other grate.
Okay. You look down the other grate. And the one that they're not in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're not at. Not. I
Make a
mean,
perception
you said
check.
in each room there are 2 grates, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Make a
So I'm gonna go
perception
down,
check.
like 10 feet to the side or whatever.
Yeah. This is the one closer to the other room if this was to make a continuous tract
Mhm.
between the two.
Okay. 13.
You see this dark, murky water. There are ripples to it. There is almost like a current, but you don't see anything.
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand just on the other side
Okay.
of the grate and just kind of like blindly feel around.
In the water?
Yeah.
Dope. You cast this ghostly hand. It appears, almost fades and melds through the grate and appears on the other side. And it just plunges beneath the water. It doesn't react to the spectral hand. You feel around. Make a sleight of hand check.
That's an 18.
An 18. You sense the hand grasp around something. You feel this brief pull, almost resistance, and then you pull it back. Through the darkness, you see this dull green metallic object appear, and it is an adamantine eye. As you pull it away, there is this little blue, almost papery ribbon attached to it that just falls into the water and sinks.
Mm-hmm. Huh. And I have it now?
Yeah.
Just show Akka.
I'm 60 feet away in the other room.
No. So he's
Same room.
he's in the other.
There's 2 grates in
Oh, I
each room.
thought you were in the other room
There's
too.
2 grates in each room, and I was like, well, check all these. So there's only 2 eyes.
So you
in
guys
that
have
one
seen
grate.
most of this at this point, but the 2 side rooms,
two top-
the 2
yeah.
D rooms, are both great rooms.
Okay.
2 grates, another room.
Yeah, so, all right. See? That's 1. 3 more to go.
Great. Huh?
All right, just do that again.
Get it? Because
I like it. I'm going to do it again.
Okay. You see this hand again disappear beneath the grate. I guess let hand check.
Another 18.
Another 18.
2 10s in a row, my friend.
You feel something pull, a little heavier this time. The hand emerges, and it's not holding an eye.
Mhm.
It's holding
a
a symbol,
nose.
little symbol. And at first, your heart leaps a little bit. It's the shape of one of those kind of icons that you need.
Oh.
But there is a familiar symbol on it as it begins to dissolve with the blood that seems to be falling away. This kind of dark, watery, this dirty water. It seems to almost dissolve as you hold it, or as it floats in front of you if you choose not to hold it.
Mhm.
It is a skull with this gear kind of protruding from part of the head.
Why? Why here? Why would it be here, I think? What else has led that to be? Is the Order of Merkul, the Midnight Assembly or whatever, that old of an organization?
Make a religion check.
Yeah, It would
It also
be
might not be related to that. I mean, if we're seeing something down here, it's not necessarily. All right, say nothing.
20. Natural 20, but 20.
Natural 20.
Yeah.
The Lord of Bones is an old god, not one of the originals.
Uh-huh.
Was ascended to godhood shortly after Bane did. I would say you would very much imagine this is not necessarily tied to this place as much as it's tied to all of you.
Right.
And very specifically, this is not the sigil for Miracle. This is the sigil for the Midnight Assembly.
Right. So it seems too specific. So
Certainly.
yeah. So yeah, again, none of this is real. This is ridiculous. Let's just find these eyes. Should I rip the grate up or do you guys want to try to keep fishing?
I'm fishing until we leave this room.
Don't rip the grate up. I think there's probably enough acid under there to burn us all.
Fair. Maybe, probably.
Heinrich, you look at this, the little elements that are now dripping and dissolving away onto the ground. It's pretty fair.
Wait, how's my eyeball doing?
I'm going to pull the line up.
Sure.
It's very short. It's
Good
burning.
thing you didn't keep
Ah, got away.
You've basically just been holding a piece of string flush with the water.
fishing.
They bit the bait clean off.
Yeah,
You
all
almost
right,
got
well,
it, Morwen. Almost got it.
I'm out of practice, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna pack it up.
All right, Aka, you want to give me a hand with this? A invisible hand with this?
You mean do I want to telekinetically grab?
Just try to find the other one.
Yeah.
I'll go to the other room and start work over there.
Okay.
I'll go with you just so you're not alone. If something
Without
happens.
too much
Sure.
trouble, if you guys are going to blindly scrounge around, how long are you guys going to take to do this?
I think
I mean,
we have to do it till it's done.
I don't feel like a pressure to
Sure.
rush, so
Until it's done?
until it's
I don't know. I
done.
feel like I would probably get annoyed at doing this instead of trying to do the button pushes to make this easier after like a certain amount of time.
How much time
Maybe
is
like maybe like 20 minutes to a half an hour.
Wow, that's a
20
long time.
minutes.
Over the
Yeah,
course
like
of about
20
a half
minutes
an
and
hour?
I'm like,
Over the course of about half an hour.
You're just gonna sweep the
Yeah.
bottom of the thing.
yeah.
No problem. One by one, you pull 4 of these adamantine eyes out.
Well, 3 because we already pulled
3,
one out,
right.
right?
But in 4 in total. And as you do, the last one kind of pierces the surface and the water tension breaks. You pull it up above the grate. You hear the loud sound of stone on stone. And Heinrich, for you, you would imagine these are those 2 open doors from the entrance shutting. And then you feel like you hear water.
Is that the tears?
I don't know, but let's get these into their.
Wait, did we just get sealed into the sealing rooms?
No.
Yeah.
The other doors. Okay. Ooh, I thought we were about to be like acid washed.
No, let's go up to
No.
the angel statues. I think I hear water. Someone maybe want to check that out, but let's go up to the angel statues that are up the
Okay.
top of the stairs and 14 eyes.
So Heinrich begins to walk up.
Yeah, I would
Yes, dude.
Yeah, I'm
follow.
gonna follow.
Sure.
You guys all begin to walk up these steps, and they're not terribly tall, 25 feet, but they're wide. Once you get about halfway up, suddenly you see over the top trickles of water begin to fall down. As you get to the top, it's a little bit more persistent, now kind of forming small falls that cascade down the steps. You can see as you get to the top, these 7 angels, their hands up at their faces are all crying, these tears coming through the stone fingers. These angels are each arranged along a trough, a stone basin, and you can see the water flowing into the basin and then overflowing across the floor.
Hmm.
It's not incredibly fast,
Mhm.
but it is water and you don't sense it stopping. The angels, you notice, all slightly different. They all seem to have individual identities. All of them kind of rusted with age. Beyond them, you can see 3 staircases, one going straight up and 2 kind of hooking around as a curve to reach a platform and a doorway.
I guess I would set about starting to inlay the adamantine eyes in the statues, but as I do it, I would probably make sure that, like, there isn't some indication that, like, eye number 1 goes to statue C,
Yeah.
and, you know,
Sure.
Are they all unique? I guess.
right,
They are
like,
each unique from each other, yes.
are the
So-
eyes
Yeah,
each
yeah.
unique?
That's
I would say, looking at the eyes and kind of looking at the statues, they do appear slightly different.
Okay.
But with that in mind, you begin to look at these statues, and there are fairly clear indicators of which are which. The statues are named. Kind of reading them, you can see the one in the middle is the most ornate of them. And this clearly, you see 7 braids that go down. This is Aristide, depicted as an angel.
Hmm.
On her left, there are 3 angels named Celadon, Kithsia, and Namare. The other side has Sirkane, Emma, and Rishon. They're all different, and they have very pronounced personalities. I would say, who's trying to match these eyes up?
I would probably be, because I have them in my bag, so I'd be like taking them out, and I would keep them like available for other people to inspect as I'm doing it.
Okay. Make a history or religion check.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead with history check. 23.
23. No problem. You know a little bit about some of these. The ones that you would know the most, there is this there's Celadon, who is thought to have crafted some of the artifacts that are very desired by the Dungannon Antiquities Collective. Celadon is this fiery dwarf with red hair that is said to be molten iron. The finest smith next to the Dawnfather himself. He favors smiths. And looking at these eyes, kind of sorting them through, you're recognizing each slightly different in the way that it's shaped, in the material. In fact, all adamantine, but some of them almost different in hue. Picking through, you find one pair uniquely fine in their craftsmanship. They have definition to the pupil, to the iris, all the same metal and not carved. This is almost minute hammer marks that you can see pitted. You'd imagine these are for Celadon. I would say you're able to recognize with that roll Celadon's finely crafted eyes, Namare, this very direct dwarf that kind of represents the direct nature of dwarves, always gravitating towards truth. You can see 2 that, when matched, point straight ahead. And then Rayshawn, the quiet, kind, sort of representing the kind nature of dwarves amongst themselves. But also the most furious when her kind is hurt. The only one that doesn't use weapons amongst the dwarven kind of pantheon. The only one that uses divine magic. And looking at them all now, you can see one, no pupils, no eyes, almost just flat. And those seem like they would fit there. You are left with 4 pairs of eyes.
Okay.
As you add these in, the elements of tears trickling through do stop, but slowly kind of matching them. By the time you've put them all in, you can already see bits of water beginning to leak out as one eye kind of begins to push.
Okay, so there's a time limit for getting these all in place.
Shay, you kind of back from this, looking over your shoulder down, you can see water is kind of fully encased the staircase, now like running down almost like a steady stream. You can see the water running beyond, and it's formed almost like an inch, and you can see it just slowly rising. Make an intelligence check.
17.
At the rate that it's going, you would imagine you probably have a couple hours, maybe 3.
Do I notice the eyes shifting back out as the water's pushing?
Yeah, turning around, and especially if Akka points it out, you can see, one kind of beginning to shift, and yeah.
Could we push them back in?
Yeah, but is it gonna go behind him and push them back in?
Yeah, so you go behind, you push them in. If you would like to hold them in, you can certainly do so. Pushing them in, they will slowly kind of wedge themselves out, unless there is some other way that you want to secure them.
I mean, is there a way that we can time it so that we get them all in and they're all pushed
yeah, I mean,
in?
I can get 3.
Well, let's
Hands
figure
and
out
tail.
what the other 4 pairs are going to.
Since I can't really think straight anymore, I do at least know how to hold something in place. I'm just gonna go through my bag and find. Let's see here.
But you have
A
hands.
bunch of rubber bands.
Well, fabric. Yeah,
Some Velcro. Sure.
I got some fabric in there somewhere. I'm
Well,
sure.
why don't you just use your hands? to push
And
them
then I'll
in?
just tie the eyes, like
Sure.
Like blindfolds over them.
pretty
So
much.
Shay, you kind of poke them back in place. You follow Akka wedging them in place, kind of sizing them out. Heinrich follows behind. He's clumsy at doing it, but he does create these sort of blindfolds over each. And though there is little elements of water that leak out, these do seem to secure them at least in place. They're not going to push all the way out. You now have 4 blindfolded angels kind of weeping through these.
That's dark.
I admire my
The
handiwork.
Cloth kind of slowly becoming dark as little bits of moisture wick into
So
it.
we only have 6 left then?
Eyes, you have 4 sets of eyes, which I believe is 8, depending on how you want to do your math.
But we already did 4 statues? Or did we do 3
Keladon,
statues?
Namare, and Rayshawn are all kind of squared away.
Yeah,
That's
Um,
3.
so at least 4 left, so 8.
Okay. I guess I would try to do Arista's first, because she's probably got the most, familiar eyes. And I
There's
think
one set that is slightly bigger than the rest.
I would probably try to, recall from the previous statues if any of those matched up.
Yeah, which
They
one
don't,
did you get from?
they don't necessarily match up, but it is the largest of the statues, kind of the most prominent in the center. So the
Okay.
largest eyes you can slot in, and they seem to fit.
Makes sense. Okay.
Heinrich, you follow up with your handiwork.
Mhm.
Then
My
I guess
updating of the art.
the
Yeah.
last 3 I would just process of elimination.
Well, make sure they don't do anything wrong when you put them in the wrong place.
Heinrich, make a perception check. You tie this cloth off and kind of cinch it around the face.
Dirty 20.
As you do so, the water changes somewhat. There's a little bit of a sheen to the top of it. And then suddenly the water becomes much darker. This is oil.
Does it smell? Have
Yeah.
you noticed that?
And all of you looking now,
It
suddenly
just
the
changed.
water just shifts, burbles for a moment like a fountain, and oil is running down. Shay, you looking down at the water kind of rising slowly. You see oil begin to spread out in these patterns as they disperse but don't quite mix. They swirl into each other. This rainbow sheen begins to kind of become apparent across the top of the water.
Oh boy.
Scrolling
Yeah.
up the second step.
Keep working on those eyes. I'm just gonna start looking around for sources
For all of you,
fire.
the water does run by your feet. Make a perception check.
Yeah, are there any open sources of fire or things that may ignite this oil?
I
as
mean,
it-
you're only near
becomes-
like an opening to the plane of fire. I'm sure you're fine.
11.
Nope.
I'm
Okay.
still actively.
We're good. There's no
trying
fire
to figure out the last 3 eye
How sturdy are
problems.
these? These are
Perhaps.
statues, right? How sturdy and tall
Yes.
are they?
Each one's about 6 feet tall, with the one of Aristok closer to 7. Not quite, but closer. Just a little bit bigger.
And they're made out of what specific? Are they sturdy? Can I?
Yeah,
climb
they're made
up
out-
one?
they're made out of stone,
Because
yeah.
this oil's freaking me out.
Sure. Make
Okay.
make an acrobatics check.
How cool do you use your climbing speed?
25 cool.
Are you climbing up one with the eyes in it or one with the eyes out of it?
Eyes in.
Okay. You climb up the first one, Celadon.
To be very careful to avoid the
Yeah. You climb up, and those of you watching, you see Morwen kind of crouched up on the shoulders of this dwarf. Akka, you take a little bit of time. You manage to find another one. You find Kithsia, it's Celadon's twin sister, known as the Smith of Fates. She adores things that bring glory to the dwarves. You find this determined set of eyes, and those seem to slot in fine. Heinrich secures this. Only 2 sets left.
Are there?
Shay, the third step disappears beneath this oil, much more prevalently oil. It's running a little bit slower, but it's still running past your feet. You recognize that your footwear is soaked in oil. Looking over, you can see Heinrich, who is having to climb up and secure these things as the little bits come out. Oil kind of on the armor. Morwen, probably the least oily of all of you, climbed up and perched on one of the statues.
I would probably start floating above the oil if it became apparent that it was going to be like getting up past like ankle height.
I think
As
I
it gets
also
to your
would climb up.
Shay, you just lightly, kind of almost like you're stepping, leap a good 7 feet, and just alight on the shoulders of another. Akka,
Looks like you guys got the last ones. I don't think you need me to keep tying them in, so I'm just gonna go get up the stairs up here, and I'll start like walking up towards the upper.
There's still 2 statues without eyes, but okay.
Yeah.
Akka,
But like,
there's
they don't
only
pop
2
out
left.
that fast.
You find the next set, and Shay, you from your statue, you can see almost a third of the way up this space. Deep in the distance, you can hear glass break somewhere, as if this kind of overwhelmed one of the already weakened panes in those tubes that you had come in. You can hear things kind of shifting, little bits of stone lifting up off the ground. As this place fills up, the dynamics in this place are changing. Heinrich, you have the thought, perhaps who is it? Shay and Morwen, you have the thought you had seen Santine's face beneath the water in those drains. That water is now very much connected to this, wherever it is. And looking now as this oily sheen makes it hard to see beneath. Anything that is approaching you would be almost invisible as it slowly rises up the steps. Okay, you find the next set of eyes.
Oh, sorry.
Is they belong to a dwarven angel, which are known as David, called Sirkane. The strongest of angels, he admires physical strength and has fought alongside the Southern Wind, one of Kord's titans. Of all of them, you can see that there's a buckler shield on this one's back. And these eyes, you can see the little, in the element that kind of goes around the eyeball itself, these little wrinkles, crow's feet. You slot those in. The one of pure joy, this kind of gleeful thing, totally different. That is a different angel, but you find those too without too much trouble. This is Sirkane and then Emma. These are 2 dwarves. Sirkane is the one that admires physical strength, fought alongside the Southern Wind. They wield a maul of unimaginable density. The face is scarred, even on the statue. Emma, angel that exhibits pure joy and the gleefulness of dwarves, wears a horned helm, though in the tails, each horn can be removed to drink with. She has a buckler shield on her back, but you've slot the eyes in. Heinrich, as you go over and you're examining these stairs, what are you looking for?
Oh, I'm just trying to get up above the water level.
Okay, yeah. You walk up the stairs, you turn around, you can see Akka slot these last eyes in. Akka, as you do, suddenly all of the liquid flowing at the same time stops. These eyes now in place. The ones kind of tied in, they seem to almost sink back just a little bit further. And Heinrich, the door directly behind you begins to rise up into the ceiling.
Oh, goodness. Seems like we got it. Let's,
Far off in the room that you just came from, Shay, you hear the sound, almost this burble of bubbles.
Blub.
And you're aware of the fact that ever so slightly, the level perhaps receding. It appears as if you have opened the way forward.
I continue forward.
Come on
No
up,
longer-
guys. The stairs are fine.
Not wanting to deal with the water things.
Yeah, you float across.
Can I piggyback on Akka? Like, just jump on his shoulder?
Yes, no problem. You leap. Akka, make a strength saving throw.
Oh,
Make it an advantage because Shay is super light.
okay. That's good because my strength is not the good.
I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna be like, oh, great idea, and then try to go for it and probably miss.
Akka,
I
You wouldn't
don't.
miss. You wouldn't miss.
I wouldn't. That's the problem.
That's an 11.
so Shay, you kind of leap and lightly land on Akka's back. Akka, you panic. All of a sudden, the shape kind of settles on you. You kind of, you try to flick Shay off. Shay, you just kind of hop frog off of that and easily can cross the remaining 15 feet and land on the stairs dry, kind of begin to walk up towards Heinrich. Akka, you spin a little bit and plummet into the water. About knee, you fall on your knees, kind of soaks up to about mid-thigh. You feel it seep into your undergarments a little bit, and your socks are going to be wet for the rest of the day, for sure.
Can I
As
try
you-
to... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't know which statue I'm actually on and how close I am to the stairs. So can I just like hop from statue to get to the stairs to avoid
Yeah.
getting wet?
No problem. Without even making a roll, because you are you can hop from each statue and you land in the same set of stairs as the first one going up that Shay is on. Akka, you look up at everybody dry and up on the staircase, kneeling in this wet, kind of viscous, oily substance.
Well, that wasn't very nice, Shay.
I get out and I go over there. And
Following
grunt.
all of you, Akka, water just like squirting out between the
I
plates
think
of
I
armor
would.
with each step.
I think I would fucking fly over and then dog shake off all the water.
Shh.
Uncanny
Shay,
dodge.
okay. Morwen, you
Dodging the
fling
rain
yourself
drops.
like a cat that has water coming towards it. You fling yourself unnaturally far, kind of leaping and lurching through the
I
doorway.
expend
kind
a
of in
spell
between.
slot to use. No, I'm just kidding. Dimension door to not get wet.
Nice.
No, I don't.
All of you now are over there.
Are we
I would
oily
say
still?
yes. All of you have elements of oil, mostly just on your feet. Akka, the most exposed.
Can we do
thigh
something
down.
about that?
You tell me.
You guys, we should probably get the soil off because there's fire.
Oh, you don't
Somewhere.
Do you
say.
have that? Do you have any more rags so we can just like wipe it off?
I don't know if that's how it works, but I could gallon by gallon, you know.
We just tried to avoid getting wet from this guy. You think? they
Yeah.
wanna
Wet versus oily versus on fire. I think there's a pretty clear hierarchy there.
Wait,
Slight
actually,
difference.
I would assume only my boots are oily, so I will take them off and say, "Here, you may dry my boots. You may wash my boots. Wash my boots, Heinrich."
Okay,
Morwen
and I
says, helpful.
spray them. I spray them without securing them, and they go flying
No,
away.
I want my boots.
You watch as the boots out and go. They skip once across the water and disappear into the darkness.
Nice.
No,
No,
you
not
wet the
my
boots.
Is it
they're,
possible
they're,
to-
They're wet.
Is it possible to spray off the oil, or is it like?
So I would say, oil is hydrophobic.
But is
If
it
you were
clinging
to
the fabric first?
a little bit, yeah. If you were to utilize the function that blasts water out, you would imagine you could probably rid a couple of items of oil if you stacked them up together. But that does utilize the rest of the decanter for the day.
Yeah, I'd rather not catch on fire. I think that's okay if you guys are okay with getting your stuff blasted.
Yeah, just as long as it doesn't.
No, put it in the corner. Like there's a corner in this balcony that we're on, right?
Yeah, and so Shay and Morwen for you is just your footwear. However,
Yep.
Akka, it is everything from your thighs down. Your armor, your undergarments, you feel it in your socks.
So do I just need to get?
Or you could stay in the corner and I
pressure
could
washed?
just I could just
It's up to
pressure
you, you
wash
can do
you
whatever
in the
you want.
corner.
It's like you guys plan these things.
I did not mean to.
Akka grumpily holds everything and just stands very firm. Akka, as you are preparing for this, make a strength saving throw at advantage.
Just lean against the wall so you don't get knocked around.
Don't tell me what to do.
I'm just trying to help you.
The way that I'm picturing this is that Akka is on the edge of the balcony over the stairs with
No.
all the water behind it.
It's just gonna get-
Thank God that was an advantage. I rolled a 2 and a 19, so it's a dirty 20.
Okay.
So, Heinrich, you level this thing and say geyser. And as you do,
And then sorry. It's guys are
this
sorry.
rush, it hits Akka, and Akka, who never landed, out into in the room, kind of into the darkness. Akka, you go about 30 feet back, covered in water, grasping onto these things. You hold everything. One of Morwen's boots.
Is he not in the corner?
Oh no,
thought he was
I
gonna be
had
in
gone into the corner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, wait.
If you would rather
Yeah.
have that, that's totally fine.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
no way
no,
I
it was
would do this in
in-
a stupid way.
Yeah, I was in the.
Akka.
I grabbed the stuff and went into the corner
Yeah.
Sure.
to like not get fucking rocked.
As you slam into the corner of the wall, propelled by 30 gallons of water as a geyser, you do take 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay, that's not too bad for.
It's embarrassment damage.
You know what?
Clothes off.
The armor,
I'm gonna-
like, you hear the
um,
armor kind of buckle a little bit as it strikes into the stone. And as you do, all of the objects that you're holding are pressed into your chest. You see the boots squirt down to the ground. One of Shay's shoes comes away and hits you in the face before you like catch it again. All of these items blasted into you against the wall, the water spraying and holding you there for a moment.
Very
You
cartoony.
can't breathe, it's in your eyes. And then as the spray kind of dies down, just slowly leading back to
I'm
Heinrich.
gonna use a protective field for that, so I don't take that damage.
So, okay, roll your d12. So, Heinrich, as you spray this water,
So that's 8.
8.
So I only take 1 damage.
Okay.
This is hilarious just to do laundry.
Yeah.
And you can see as this happens, there's a crackling of energy behind Akka as he makes this cushion of psionic energy to catch himself. You can see the wall behind you bend in a little bit with the force. Because you do prevent a lot of the damage and thus the water reaching you. Shay, your shoes have been cleaned, and Morwen, your shoes have been cleaned. Akka, you protect yourself well enough from the water that you still have large elements of oil on.
Yeah.
Oh
you
my
put
God.
a shield around yourself. What are you
No,
doing?
I put a shield to like cushion myself from getting smushed against the wall.
Yeah, but this is the way that if you're removing the damage, you're also protecting yourself and insulating it from the force.
I wouldn't have
this is a
done
trade-off.
that. Yeah.
You didn't know.
Yeah.
You haven't tried to wash your armor using a decanter of endless water in a dungeon before. Don't
That
fly.
is true.
All right, all I gotta say is then, if you're gonna do that, if you really don't want to get the oil off, just don't get near any flame. Also, this is the second time I've done this to a different character.
Matt character, yeah.
This time was trying to help.
I've done it to a Matt character too.
Yeah.
By accident. Washing off.
Matt's
the
done
wall.
it to a Matt character.
Yeah,
Into a
that was
ceiling.
on purpose.
All right.
Alright, well, I'm gonna dry off my boots and put on my new. I mean, not my new, my clean, squeaky boots. Well, they're not
Okay.
squeaky.
Well, they are squeaky.
They
when
are
you wash
squeaky
them.
because they're wet.
No, I dried them.
I-
I have leftover material. Dude, I have so many stolen robes and everything.
So you just make robe socks, so you don't have to.
No, I just take it and use it like a towel and blot the inside.
Can I
Give it
try
a
to like
shake.
mage hand scrape my stuff clean
What?
Yeah.
as we're just walking, just using my
okay.
telekinesis
You
to
see
sort
this-
of
I
like
shake my boots if coins fall out.
smush,
Ting, ting,
like
ting, ting.
wipe it off.
Sorry, guys. I'll just, my bad.
Ting ting, you see a little diamond to the ground.
That's what
Okay.
that was.
As you guys kind of turn and walk and you guys consider the space in front of you, you try to scrape away elements of the oil with your telekinesis. For some reason, it doesn't seem to work that great. Almost as if using this invisible force to move a chemical out of a material doesn't quite work. But you see little bits kind of flicker off and drop. In front of
You
you
do a
guys, you can
control burn if you want, and I'll just like
No, don't.
ready.
Stay away from me.
Love that idea. I'm a huge fan.
A controlled burn. It's fine. I'll just heal you while I'm burning you, and then it'll be okay.
The space beyond this door opens up into an avenue similar to the one that you've traveled on, this Everbright brand, a little bit straighter away, and you see,
Everbright band.
Everbright man, sorry.
Yeah.
Tried to just gloss through it. 40 feet in front of you, you see something that I believe one of you has seen before. There is a door, large, kind of warped and gnarled woods of board that have been kind of boarded up, kind of covering it. But behind that, you see the door itself, warped iron, part of a large set of double doors. There's a long, dirty rope that disappears up and into the wooden arch of this doorway. On either side, you see a skeleton that's been kind of nailed, similar to the one that you saw previously, up kind of with the warning above it. Who's going first? I guess it would be Heinrich, right?
I guess if no one else wants to.
So Heinrich, as you
I
look
might set
at
some
this,
traps off, you guys, but
You could always check them.
well, you're the first one looking because you're the first one up here. So you're in the doorway. The hall goes 40 feet, and you see this in front of you. But as you look, Heinrich, the skeletons, you can see there's like nails, almost like wires that thread them together to keep them whole. You hear the metal rods embedded in each one as they turn and the two skulls face you. You see between them another figure kind of kneeling on the ground. It is this bald gray dwarf, although the skin is almost mummified and wrapped taut around the bones. The head is kind of pulled back. You see the open skeletal mouth, the empty eye sockets. The limbs are kind of curling in with the decay of the matter that holds it together. There is something about it that does seem odd. It beyond the fact that it's a corpse kind of curled up and dried to the ground. But Heinrich, you get a magical sense to it.
just using it.
As you cast Detect Magic, the range is 60 feet?
No. Hold on.
30?
No.
I think it's 30.
So at 30 feet, you would need to get 10 feet closer to be able to see.
Yeah.
So you want to walk into the hall.
Check for traps first. Anyone want to help me check for traps first?
Make an investigation check.
I look over to Shay.
I'll help.
Make one at advantage.
Perfect. Can't get much better than that. Couldn't get much better than that. Well, I could, but no. 19.
19. You step forward with Shay kind of right off to your side. And as you take a couple steps closer, you see the aura of magic kind of come into view and then grow stronger. Certainly there is a necromantic magic to this, and you've seen this exact thing before. You've seen Guntir cast Speak with Dead on objects. It seems to be almost infused into this body.
And then the body on the curled up body there, yeah. And then you said there were two skeletons?
Yeah, and those don't seem magic at all, but they did.
But they were where?
And you see, so they're kind of almost like there's wire going between the bones to hold them together, and the wires seem to extend into the stone. The one in the middle is just kneeling on the stone. Still has skin that's kind of tight and dehydrated, desiccated into it, very mummy-like.
But where are the two skeletons?
Hi, Das. The two skeletons are to the left and right of the doors. They kind of flank it.
On the wall? On the ground?
They're just off the ground. The wires actually connect them to it, but just suspended off.
Okay. I think we're meant to talk to this thing. And I point at the corpse.
And looking at the corpse, everybody else, the mouth is just kind of twisted open, the arms drawn inward. There are no eyes, little bits of wispy hair fluttering in the invisible breeze all around you, the dark stone of the wall, these paper tags in the wind.
While Heinrich is talking to this thing, because I am not going to talk to this thing.
I'm 100%.
I'm gonna
talk to this thing.
check out these the paper flaps. I'm gonna be like, we've seen those in a number of places now.
Sure.
I want to get a better look at them and see what the deal is.
Okay, so what are you trying to discern? What the deal is? Like make an Arcana check.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like what could their purpose be, and why are they showing up so prevalently in all of these different rooms that have
they
been...
coat the walls in these rooms.
Yeah. Arcana, 26.
These are very odd. They're not magic necessarily. There is something dark at work here. As you look at the writing on these, they don't quite focus in your eyes, and they seem to move and shift. And as they do, it's like the shadow that they're written in drifts upwards and away into the air.
Like the Smokies.
There is an abyssal element to this nature. You'd imagine this is the language abyssal. Do you speak it?
I don't think I do. No, I do not.
However, there are elements that do bring about the idea of magics that you've seen. But less magic. This seems to almost be like an anti-magic, and you would imagine, should you cast spells over a certain level, something will happen when in proximity to these tags.
So these are like anti-magic wards, essentially.
You would imagine that they certainly react to magic. What that means, that's a little... You've never worked with something like this.
Okay. Sweet. So, yeah.
For the rest of you, kind of stepping forwards towards this body, you can approach, you can draw within 10 feet, 5 feet. You see in more detail how decayed this thing is. It doesn't react. Beyond it, the doorway that you see, structured out of bone, it would seem, but there are metal elements behind. What do you want to do, Morwen?
I'm gonna say hello.
Okay. You see, again, the face, the mouth twisted into this death grimace. No eyes, just like kind of looking up into the sky. It doesn't respond.
Ask it if it's thirsty.
You said that the skeleton
Takes in this deep breath, and you see it kind of go forward, and in the sockets, these milky white translucent eyes kind of roll into being out of nothing. And it leans forwards. And it looks at you.
Oh, okay. At first I thought this
Hello
was out
there.
of response to what Matt said.
No,
This is real. Okay.
this is real, and this is directed
Real.
at you, who
Yeah.
said hello.
Hello. Yeah, what happened? Well, it didn't say anything.
Nope, it's just looking at you, waiting. You hear the breath draw in and out, rattling through the bone and the dried out skin.
How's it going?
I'm dead.
I'm sorry to hear that. How did that happen?
Nope.
Teased
Okay,
up.
1 second.
Damn.
Are you thirsty?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, wait. Can I panache?
Are you sure? Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I
Because I have to see, it is action.
it just says the creature must be able to hear me and share a language.
And you grant a creature a semblance of life? Sure. Why not? You can certainly try. So you can make your persuasion check first against the insight check of this dead creature.
Morwen's new band name, Corpse Charmer.
That's dope. What is your persuasion check?
That is a 19.
You ask how it died, right? You see an almost relaxed look come across this corpse's face.
No
the
one's asked how I felt in
dead
years.
skin kind of relaxing slightly. Little bits flake off as it does.
Died of laughter.
Having a good time. No. It speaks through the dead throat, kind of whistling and very rough and unpleasant. I was killed in a raid on the Grey Lady. As this happens, Morwen, you having asked 2 questions, you see more of the skin kind of crack away.
I'm just gonna point at the door, and then I'm gonna message, be like, ask him how we open this door.
I'm gonna message back, right? I can do
Sure.
that? Okay. Shouldn't I also ask what's behind that door? I guess it doesn't really matter. We're going anyway, aren't we? How do I get through that door behind you?
You see the head turn and turn.
Safely.
Snap. Continue to turn until it's looking all the way behind it at this door. And then it turns back, snapping into place. A gift must be given to the Grey Lady. What would you offer? The eyes close for a second and then reopen, blinking. You see the arm fall into dust. You're running out of questions.
While she's doing that, do I see a keyhole anywhere on this door?
You do not. You don't see a key, a handle, a lever, a switch. Just
Hmm.
bone and metal, almost fused and twisted in places.
Hmm.
I take out my jar of eyes, but I'm not necessarily asking a question. I'm just bringing it out like,
You see the milky eyes kind of. No response.
What a thoughtful gift.
Put a bow on it.
I put a bow on it.
You have a bow in your inventory?
I'll use some of the leftover fishing string that didn't get burned away
Fishing wire.
to kind of.
So you
On
put a little
goodness.
knot on the top. You're
see-through tiny
yeah,
knot.
you don't even need to roll for that. I mean, you've worked a long time on a ship. You make a little bow and you place it on top of this jar of eyes, and no response.
What kind of a gift?
It's gonna be that guy.
Why don't you ask the question?
I'm gonna get
Good
my
at
book
asking
out,
questions.
Okay.
and I'm gonna quickly ask Uriel, what kind of gift would the Grey Lady want to allow us access through this door we are standing in front of?
Okay. This
Because I had
body.
to specify.
As you're just drawing out, you just hear this heavy breathing and raspy dead.
Well, I know how
lines
the
back
spell
and forth
works.
as you're
Sorry if it
writing
sucks
this
for
down.
him, but
You transcribe the celestial in ink onto the paper. And there it sits.
What?
doesn't move.
No.
What a shitty book. Just kidding. Does it look like anything in the room is reacting? I'd be like,
You see Morwen just kind of shaking the jar of eyes in front of this corpse, who's looking at her, expressionless, dead. You see Shay, as always, hard to read, but mild exasperation, perhaps. And then you see Aka, who looks quite cross and a little bit wet. Nothing seems
in
to be
the room is
reacting to the book.
Close the book, and I'll holster it.
You do so.
Well, I'm eyeballing everyone, just like,
Should I give the key?
no,
Why not?
give your eyeball.
What eyeball?
The gold one.
What gold one?
That one.
Fuck no.
Oh, I'm just sure that's
Get
what she wants.
yours.
She doesn't want mine are jar eyes.
Why don't you
Remember?
just ask?
What kind of gift would the Grey Lady accept? Gifts. Gifts. I want options.
As it inhales, you see all the ribs suddenly become more pronounced as elements of the skin kind of suck in and begin to crumble away down onto the ground. And he says, "Gifts are not always physical. The Grey Lady values information. But quickly, if you cannot give me this gift, the door will remain shut." And as it says shut, the jaw kind of juts out with that word and falls away to the ground. You have one question left.
Guys, who's got information? I also don't know if we have to give this information before he like.
Also, can't you just like get the information from our heads remotely, anyways?
Are you asking the corpse?
No, I'm not asking that.
Hey, we've got one left. You don't get to take it.
Maybe it's the thought that counts.
Literally.
I'm thinking gift real hard.
Okay, you think that.
Anyone?
I mean, unless you want me to ask what information she would like.
But then how would we offer it?
Maybe we say it out loud or to the skellies that are looking at us.
I
Are they?
believe
Did they
he-
like follow us towards the dwarf?
Hard to tell. Without really looking in there, they're maybe 15 feet back and on the other side. You weren't specifically watching. Difficult to tell.
Just move around the room.
The answer is not 42. I'll just nick that in the bud right there for you, Allie. Thank you. Boss.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll do a few side steps and see if they're watching me.
You hear a little bit of the metal turn in the eyes.
They
These
watching.
skulls turn. Yeah.
What do we even have to offer?
This corpse still kind of falling apart in front of you.
Does anyone have any ideas?
I'm nervous because we either ask like what information to give or how do we give it. We have one more question left.
It's almost like
I think the better question to ask is what information do you want? And then we can figure out how to give it. Just like, you
Sure,
know,
fuck it. No one else has any ideas.
just
do
mail it in,
Just do
There's-
it.
yell it,
I
scream
mean,
it.
we can
Think-
offer the information about Azra.
this seems like information that we don't necessarily want to give to a potentially malevolent being.
Unless we can.
However, said potentially malevolent being may not want
Doesn't
to
have
be
to-
destroyed by said other malevolent being.
Well, this being doesn't want to be destroyed by either.
She may make a valuable ally. I may have access to information on Azra and her plan to destroy the world. I'll just fucking say it out loud. How does that work?
You wait for it to respond and then crumble away, but curiously, this skull, much more than any of the times you've seen this spell cast, turns and regards you for a moment. There's almost a semblance of intelligence behind it. And it looks kind of past you, Morwen. And Morwen wouldn't know this, but I would say, Heinrich, every time that you've seen Guntir cast this spell, very specifically, if other people ask questions, Guntir was the one that had to voice them to get a response. This is not the case here. It looks
Oh,
at
thank
you,
goodness.
regards, and it says, "Is this information you offer?"
To the best of my ability.
A moment passes. This is acceptable. And then crumbles. You
Oh,
see
I
the
thought
two
you were a
skeletons on
dummy.
either side fall, almost the wire releasing, unbinding these bones that clatter to the ground, and the metal and bone door just collapses. Bones falling, little bits of twisted metal clambering to the ground, and in front of you, you see looming high arched ceilings. The door to the granite overwatch is open to you. You can see within strange sigils and circles along the floor, and strange bits of light kind of coming in from the corners. They make it dimly lit with an almost soft lavender and in places green glow. From within, you hear footsteps. Heinrich, you're in the front.
Okay. Sure.
You're the information bringer, so I'd wait for you.
I guess
to
I would
pass.
start walking
I'm not
towards
the
the
one
door.
talking
I'd
here.
look over at Shay and be like, I hope this is a good idea.
I'm walking immediately behind you, so.
Yeah.
So,
I look very
Heinrich-
concerned and like mildly like, oh fuck, at you, and then look face forward again.
So Heinrich, you step forward, and Shay behind. Who's next?
I think I would wait because I am not happy with the outcome of this.
Sure. Morwen, are you going in as well?
Yep.
Okay, the three of you enter with Akka about 10 feet back. You step into the space, the dim light giving you a fairly small chamber. It is curved up and around, and you can see a doorway in front, wooden door. You see there are platforms inset to the wall facing you, and there are ballistae pointed towards you. Old and kind of worn, and you see these spectral shapes kind of manning them. But they're standing, not behind this. And there is this figure in front of the door, small, sized to be about the size of a gray dwarf with gray robes that kind of come over the face. You can see the hands in front clasping a small walking stick, the fingers entirely too long for this creature. They go almost like a knuckle too far. They're wrapped around the gnarled, twisted wood on the top. She looks up, and through the hood, you see this long, hooked, bulbous nose that holds the top of this cloth. You don't see the eyes or much of the face. But she takes a single shuffling step forward towards you, Heinrich. And because it is 11:56, this is where we're going to end for the evening. But you guys have made it to the Granite Overwatch and to the Grey Lady.
Without
Interesting
getting caught on
information to offer.
Yeah.
I will say that is one of the very few things that brought the Grey Lady to the front door and did not force you to navigate all the way to her. That is some
that's
interesting information you're offering up.
I mean, of course it fucking is. God damn it. And
That made me so excited. I hadn't considered that.
It's gonna be a lot of shit. Good thought.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
thought there.
I'm very excited. So, yeah, that's awesome. Great work, everybody. You guys made it finally to the Grey Lady. You've not re-encountered Edward, so that's nice.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
I will
I'd
say-
like my intelligence back if that's the case, but like we'll see.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I have
there
an
was some
idea.
there was some
I have an
interesting
idea.
possibilities to this. So this is not one that I expected. So you guys did make it to the Granite Overwatch. You have now come face to face for the first time in a way with the Grey Lady. But this is where we're going to end for the evening. Thank you guys for hanging out. Doss, I saw you. Sorry about your stream and the technical difficulties you faced. Yasumi, want to thank you for the subscription. Are we all back next week?
I am getting my second poke, so hopefully
right.
hopefully I won't pass out halfway through.
Either way, we'll just give
We'll
we'll
keep
give,
going as far as I can.
we'll give the Guntir-minded Matt control of Heinrich. I think that's perfect.
I think it should be fine. I just may get kind of like I just may get kind of woozy, which is apparently appropriate for being stifled intelligence, anyways.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
imagine if Heinrich got possessed by Guntir.
No.
No.
Having access to such powerful single
Unlimited power!
Yeah, if Guntir was Guntir now, he would have access to some crazy stuff. As you get up there, the cleric spells get pretty nuts.
Mhm.
But anyways, thank you guys very much for hanging out, for watching D&D. We'll be back next week for session 80 of Adventures in Alberon. But until then, stay safe out there. We'll see you next week. Bye.